I'm Christine Lisi. The latest move in a wild NFL offseason involves receiver Tyreek Hill. ESPN's Adam Schefter's reporting the Chiefs traded him to the Dolphins for 5 draft picks, first, second, and fourth round picks this year and fourth and sixth round picks next year. Hill's being made the highest paid receiver in NFL history by the Dolphins. 4-year, $120 million extension, $72 million guaranteed. Kansas City gave Hill permission to seek a trade amid stalled talks on a contract extension. The Chiefs' thought process behind the trade explained by Schefter.
Rather than pay Tyreek Hill the money he wants, even though he arguably is the most explosive player in all of football, they are taking a different course. And they're going to get younger and cheaper at the wide receiver position and think that in the long term, they're hoping that they're better off.
Hill chose Miami over the Jets. NBA, Lakers ruled out LeBron James tonight against the 76ers because of knee soreness, 10 Eastern on ESPN Radio and ESPN TV. The Warriors resting Draymond Green, Klay Thompson, and Otto Porter Jr. against the Heat tonight in the second half of a back-to-back.
If you need to hire, then you need Indeed. The all-in-one hiring platform helps you schedule and conduct video interviews right from your employer dashboard. Finding your next great hire has never been more streamlined. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios. That's right.
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR. Presented by Pluckers. I'm Matt.
Love you, Matt.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Muso. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. Oh, by the way, it's a hump day. I'm like legit pissed off right now.
It's hump day.
Coming up on AFR today, Matt's got Taylor Calandro, of course, for Bourbon Dictionary at 3:45. Buzzy Haydel, LSU baseball. Tigers on the diamond tonight at Alex Box Stadium, Skip Bertman Field. They're facing the Louisiana Tech Bulldogs. Bit of a revenge spot for LSU. Buzz will join us at 4 o'clock. Kenny Roth covers Murray State. Get some more reaction to Matt McMahon. He'll be around at 5 o'clock. Speaking of Matt McMahon, of course, Matt will definitely give you his thoughts on the introductory press conference for the Tigers' new head basketball coach. That wrapped up about an hour ago. I'm going to get you started, though, most likely here with a little bit of Brian Kelly.
All right. Thank you, Musa. Thanks to Cade Wazan for an adapter that works. We'll work on a chair that works. All my crap is now broken on the ground. Unbelievable. Actually, it's entirely believable, unfortunately. All right, let's go. A ton to do today. Bourbon Dictionary later. Buzzy Haydel next hour. We'll go up to Murray, Kentucky. Talk to Kenny Roth. He is the color analyst on the radio broadcast for Murray State. We'll get to know Matt McMahon, who's introduced today. All right, so Brian Kelly introduced spring. He previewed spring today, meeting with the media. And I'm telling you, it was really, really refreshing to listen to a coach who was both candid and thoughtful. Like, who had good ideas, knew how to articulate them, and felt like he had a plan. Don't feel like I've heard that in Baton Rouge in 15 years. It was refreshing and also honest from Brian Kelly to understand how far he feels like this program still has to go. Play number 3, please. Brian Kelly kind of, he talked about a lot of what the process has been for this team up to this point, which has been tough for his team. To hear a new voice, to to implement new practices, to see new faces around the building, to have different expectations, all of which is new. All of these guys have been here. They're the new ones, and these players are all having to change. But the next layer of this, as he said, is spring practice.
That's kind of where we are right now. As we kind of move into spring practice, we get to add the next layer. There's been a lot of physical preparation. Now we get to add the technical and the tactical preparation, but always with building these habits on a day-to-day basis.
The most obvious question was quarterback. And he kind of headed it off at the pass when he said, I don't know who the quarterback's going to be. You can ask me, but I don't have the answer. But ask, we had to, and did, because Miles Brennan has returned and Jayden Daniels has been added to the quarterback room. Before we go specifically into quarterback, which we'll get to, and there was a ton. He talked injuries, he talked roster, he talked the idea of what he'd like to see in the spring. But I want to start by talking about quarterback, because this is our first opportunity to really talk to Brian Kelly about the addition of Jayden Daniels, who I and many are assuming is going to be the starting quarterback at LSU when they take on Florida State in the Superdome in September. But play number 5, please. He talked about his whole philosophy on roster building.
Here's what we told our group. As we build this roster, our job, my job, is to build competition at every position. If you don't like competition, this isn't the place for you. I came down here because I love competition. So it starts with me, and it's going to run through every position. If competition is not what you like, then there's another school for you. And so at every position, we're going to build it with competition. If you love to compete, LSU's the place for you.
If you're scared of competition, there's another school for you. If you love to compete, LSU is the place for you. That is the conversation that Brian Kelly is having with every player, including today, Miles Brennan, because Brian Kelly shows up, Miles Brennan's in the transfer portal, the only quarterback on campus at the time is Nussmeier. You got Walker Howard coming in. Kelly goes to Miles Brennan, says, hey, we're going to recruit a quarterback either way. The spot's here if you want it. So Brennan returns to campus. And then they add Jayden Daniels. So here was the conversation that Brian Kelly had with Miles Brennan about adding Jayden Daniels.
I think we started with just wanted to add more competition, and that nobody has the starting position. Go earn it. You've worked hard. He's changed his body. He's healthy. Remember when you threw, I think it was 4 touchdown passes against Missouri? You're an outstanding quarterback. Why can't it be you? And the same thing for Nuss, the same thing for Jayden. So I think it's just, the inner confidence that they all have in themselves that they can be the starter.
So had that conversation with Miles Brennan, come compete. I was interested in the Jayden Daniels aspect as far as how he ended up here. Was this staff pursuing a quarterback, or was it just by happenstance that he became available and they added him? Here was Brian Kelly filling in that blank of how the Jayden Daniels addition to the LSU roster came about.
Jayden had made the decision to go into the portal, which that starts the whole process. Is the young man made that decision to go in the portal. There's discussions because, we're looking at the portal like, the free agency board, right? The lights go on. There's internal discussions. Is this somebody that we want to bring in? Does he fit our culture? Is this a guy that, we think fits the offense? And so there's internal discussions for a couple of days. And to be quite honestly, during those discussions, that's when you'll find out whether there's interest from the other party. And that's when generally somebody's reaching out. And contact was made. And then it was up to us to see if we were going to reciprocate. And obviously we did.
Okay, so that was a 46-second way of saying Jayden Daniels went into the portal, reached out to us. We had a conversation as a staff. We reciprocated. We brought him in. So it wasn't LSU reaching out to Jayden Daniels. It was Jayden Daniels who made first contact to say, hey, I'm available. Are you interested? And clearly they are. Now, The big question is why. And this is what I've talked about a lot ever since Daniels jumped aboard with LSU. His ability is something that Brian Kelly and Mike Denbrock, in the way when you look stylistically at the quarterbacks they've had, from Brian Kelly at Notre Dame with guys like Malik Zaire and Ian Book, and you all know the list. And then you look with Denbrock this year at Cincinnati, it's very obvious they want a quarterback that has mobility. And they have that here in Jayden Daniels. And he was asked about that, about Jayden Daniels' ability to extend plays.
I think he brings more than extending plays, actually. He was in an offensive structure and system which was really built towards ball control this past year, playing to a very good defense. We think that there's a lot that has not been tapped into with his ability to be a dual-threat quarterback. He's got arm talent, he's got a high IQ, and he can run the football. He's a talented runner of the football. He wasn't asked to do that. He was more of an extender of plays. We think that there's much more to it than what he's brought over the last couple of years.
Sure sounds like you're going to have a quarterback with design runs, doesn't it? And if that's something they covet, you're not going to get that with Miles Brennan. You'll have it in Nussmeier. You'll have it in Walker Howard. And likely every quarterback LSU recruits heretofore, the one guy that doesn't fit that mold is Miles Brennan. So it's a huge opportunity for Brennan, but he feels like he's got a lot to prove as well, because if you look at the quarterback room right now and you say, which one doesn't fit, it's Miles Brennan. But he's also the most veteran, which is why this was interesting. Brian Kelly was asked how they would handle the quarterback position in spring practice. Like, you got 4 guys. How do you get them all work? He, in a very detailed manner, explained how they plan to do that.
It probably was the one area that I spent more time with Mike and Joe than, what concept are we putting in the passing game. We're going to go seniority to start, 1 through 4, first in to last in. And then the next time it might be last in to first in, until we get into a rhythm, that allows everybody to get enough reps where you can start to break those out. I'll give you an example. We start off every practice with a tempo period. It's 12 reps. So A and B are going to split the first group of 6 reps, 3 and 3. C and D are going to split the next 2 at 3 and 3. So every day, somebody's going to get 3 and 3. Another group's going to get 3 and 3. It could be different in terms of who that first guy is, but that rotation will happen every day. It'll be similar. We do a 6-4 rotation. Ones get 6, 2s get 4 reps. So it's 10 total reps. Each one of them, in some fashion's got to get some first reps, but it'll be broken up with 4 guys working through 10 reps. And that's how we're looking at it throughout the entire spring.
And who's on first? You get all that? 3 and 3s, 6 and 4 for 10 total reps, 6 and 4s, 4s and 6, 4 total guys got to get 10 reps. What? I don't do math, but he's got it figured out. And they're going to make their way through it the best way that they think is fair to get a look at all of these quarterbacks this spring. We got a ton to talk about. We're going to get into all of it. But the single biggest question on this team is who is going to be the starting quarterback? And you've got to figure that out over these 15 spring practices. Because I don't believe you're going to have all 4 of these guys on the roster August 4th when they report for fall camp. So you better make darn well sure you maximize this time over the next month to figure out what you have at that position, because you have to figure out that position to then build the offense around your quarterback skill set. And I think I have a pretty good idea of how it's going to go. But that's why we'll have this next month of practice for Brian Kelly and the staff to figure out what exactly they have. Okay, it's after further review. Like I said, we got a ton to get to with the quarterbacks, not only quarterbacks, all spring practice. Brian Kelly had some fascinating comments on Kayshon Boutte. We're going to get to that in 1 hour from right now. In hour 3, he went deep dive into injuries, the roster numbers, all that. Again, so we've got a lot of LSU football sprinkled in throughout the show today, and glad to have you aboard with us here. Let me knock out a quick break. We'll come back. Do want to talk about Teron Armstead, who is officially a Miami Dolphin, and also new LSU basketball coach Matt McMahon met the media today. We'll get into that. It's AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by the Baton Rouge General Hospital, brgeneral.org, brgeneral.org, where their express care locations are open. So if you need to see a doctor urgently, but you don't want to go wait in line at the ER, maybe you don't need to go to the ER. Maybe it's not emergency care, but you need to see someone urgently. That's where the express care locations are available from the Baton Rouge General Hospital. Look, if you download the Baton Rouge General app, you can actually check wait times at each of the Express Care locations, and you can even check in online as well. So go to brgeneral.org, and right there on the homepage, you'll see the check-in for the Express Care locations. You can find the location nearest you, and you can see what symptoms that they treat. Walk-in urgent care 7 days a week. If you've got cough or COVID, if it's allergies or animal bites, even stitches, sprains, and strains, they treat it at the Baton Rouge General urgent care locations. brgeneral.org, brgeneral.org.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
During these challenging times, we know your healthcare needs don't stop. Cancer, accidents, injuries, and heart disease are relentless. So we are relentlessly innovating to keep you safe, both virtually and in person, connecting you with providers remotely, advancing clinical spaces, providing rapid and accurate testing, social distancing, and certified cleaning protocols. We are Auctioner, and we will not slow down. Auctioner Health, innovating healthcare.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you were born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
If home is where the heart is, a roof is a shield. That's why for over 25 years, South Louisiana always turns to Garcia Roofing and Sheet Metal. For more information, visit Garcia.
After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Presented by Flucker's Wing Bar. Open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Flucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
All right, so we talked about it yesterday, just assuming that it was absolutely going to happen. And just minutes after we finished the show, Teron Armstead to the Miami Dolphins became official. So the former Saints third-round pick, Teron Armstead, now officially a Miami Dolphin, 5-year contract worth up to $87.5 million. I do want to talk a little bit about what we know as a result of this deal. If you missed it yesterday on the show, we did kind of go deep into what the Saints' options are at left tackle, because we were operating under the assumption that Armstead was not going to be back. If there were a deal similar to Marcus Williams, if there were a deal to be done, it would have been done. Armstead was willing to wait to see the Deshaun Watson news because if Watson ended up in New Orleans, maybe a chance he stays, got a great chance to win a Super Bowl. When that opportunity dissipated on Friday, it was just evident that Armstead was not going to be back in New Orleans. They've had time to get a deal done. They didn't, meant there wasn't a deal to be done. But the Saints always have their number. And whether you respect this or not, and it's odd to say, kind of counterintuitive, because the Saints are the organization that really is least fiscally responsible. Is that fair? I mean, that's why they end up with the most dead money. They're $70 million over the cap to start the offseason. But with respect to awarding free agent contracts, they are very fiscally responsible. They have their number, and they're not going to go over it, no matter who you are. They had their number with Mark Ingram. Ingram thought he was worth more. They let him go test free agency. He ended up with signing with Baltimore for a fraction more than what the Saints were offering. Marcus Williams, we just saw it here. I mean, obviously they couldn't pay Trey Hendrickson last year for a lot of reasons we understand. But the reports around Armstead were that Armstead wanted between $20 and $22 million per year. He wanted Trent Williams money. Now, he didn't get it, but the Saints weren't willing to give him that number, and they had their number in mind that they weren't willing to go over. And so Teron Armstead today is a Miami Dolphin. But what's interesting most is that Miami gave Armstead less money than he was seeking, which goes to show you that the market for Armstead wasn't what he thought it would be. Even though he's a elite player at a premium position, Teron Armstead didn't get the number he wanted, and it was still more than the Saints were willing to pay. Keep in mind, the deal the Saints did with Armstead back in 2016 was a 5-year, $65 million deal. So that was $13 million per year. Okay, so follow me. I don't mean to go too deep into the numbers, but when Armstead re-signed with the Saints in 2016, it was a 5-year deal at $65 million, so $13 million per. Armstead wanted $20 to $22 million per. What he got is a 5-year, $87.5 million contract, which is $17.5 million per year. And by the way, that's not guaranteed. It's with incentives up to $87.5 million per year. So not even that number specifically. Let's say he maxes out that deal, it's still $17.5 million. You know, at minimum, $2.5 to $2.5 to $5 million per year less than what he wanted. Now, Florida, no state income taxes, so that does make that deal more valuable, clearly, but still didn't get the number that he thought and was still more than the Saints were willing to pay. It's the old Sean Payton line that he stole from Bill Parcells. You'd rather see a player leave a year too early than a year too late. And here's the reality with Armstead that the Saints arrived on. As tough as it is today to look at this and watch this dude that you drafted in the 3rd round out of Arkansas Pine Bluff when he ran a 4.7 140, as athletic as he was, by the end of his rookie year, he was starting at left tackle, becomes an all-pro at left tackle, a 3-time Pro Bowler. Back in 2015 and 2018, Pro Football Focus graded him the top offensive tackle in the NFL. So really elite player, but he's going to be 32 when this year starts. He'll turn 32 in July. So Teron Armstead's going to be 32 years old in July. He plays 5 years for Miami. He's going to be 37 years old. They basically are guaranteeing this veteran tackle that number into his late 30s when he has never played a full 16 or now 17-game season, and he's coming off a year where he played in only 8 games. When he's healthy, he's awesome. That's not even debatable. The problem is he's never been healthy for a full season. So if you're the Saints, you're looking at it going, why would I invest $20 million in a player, even though we love him? $20 million per year into a player that has always had trouble staying healthy, and now we're talking about guaranteeing that money into his late 30s. There's less of a chance he stays healthy as he gets older and guys' bodies break down. So would I love Teron Armstead back with the Saints in 2022 or 2020? Yes. Am I going to be pumped about paying Teron Armstead $17.5 million a year in 2027? No, not really. So would you rather get rid of a player a year too early or a year too late? Saints have abided by that mantra, a year too early. And that's Armstead still has some good football left in him. I don't think there's any doubt. Does he have 5 more years of elite football at that number? I doubt it, which is why this is probably the fiscally prudent decision by the Saints to move on and to find who's going to be that franchise bookend for the next 5, 7, 10 years. And maybe it's Ryan Ramczyk flipping over to left tackle. Maybe you find that player in the draft this year. Maybe it's a stopgap year with James Hurst before you find who that guy is next. But short term sucks. I think we'll look back at the end of Armstead's 5 years in Miami and go, thank God the Saints didn't do that deal. All right, it's after further review. We're glad to have you aboard with us here. We're brought to you by Michelli Weighing and Measurement, Michelli.com, Michelli.com. Celebrating 75 years in business. They're online at Michelli.com. If you weigh or measure something, they sell, service, and rent the products you use to weigh and measure. That is Michelli Weighing and Measurement. Remember, ISO 17025 accreditation is available. Their track system allows you 24/7, 365 access to all of your calibration certificates. That makes you more efficient as a business, no matter what industry that you are in. There's dozens of them that they serve: aerospace, aggregates, agriculture, the chemical and petrochemical industries, energy, food and beverage. It's all there for you. If you weigh or measure something, they sell, service, and rent the products you use to weigh and measure. Michelli.com, Michelli.com. All right, Matt McMahon, new LSU head basketball coach, was introduced today to the media. Most importantly, I think I think most coaches nail the introductory press conference, as you'd expect. He talked more about culture and building good culture and surrounding himself with good people and setting his players up with good habits and life skills. And when you do all of those things, wins will follow. So he didn't talk about winning games or winning championships or anything like that. But the big question was taking this job amid the sanctions. And he was asked early about taking this job with the sanctions, and he really, really just brushed it aside.
This is LSU, one of the great brands in all of sports. This is the SEC. We've built a program with elite players, and we're going to continue to do that here at LSU. I'm excited to move the program forward, and we're going to build it with great players, great people, and everyone in our organization. And so no concerns there at all. I'm excited about this opportunity of a lifetime, and we're ready to roll.
The couple of times that he was asked about sanctions, he just brushed it off and didn't give it any consideration. And obviously the way that LSU has structured his contract has given him that leeway to where he doesn't really have to concern himself. Now, he was asked about the current roster, and he made it abundantly clear that that's where he started the second he got this job.
It's top priority. Hit the ground running from the second I got the job. So I think that's very important. It's all about getting the right people on the bus, and we're going to work to establish those relationships. I don't expect someone to walk in and shake my hand in 30 seconds and have trust established, but we're going to work to do that. I'm going to lay out a vision for how we're going to run our program and how it's going to benefit these young men on and off the basketball court. I have great confidence in that. So I want people who want to be here. I don't know why you wouldn't want to be here. And that's how we're going to build it.
Want people who want to be here. That's going to be challenging. Just candidly, there's no way around that. You've already seen every member of this recruiting class now defect, including Yohan Traore, who just yesterday decommitted from LSU, the big 5-star big man. Auburn's now in on him. It's going to sting. You know that you're going to lose guys. I mean, look, you know you got a couple of seniors on this roster in Pinson and Days who are gone. You know you're going to see Tari Eason go pro. And then there's other guys that you legit have to what's going to happen with Eric Gaines? Is Alex Fudge going to come back? Efton Reed was a 5-star big. Does he seek greener pasture somewhere else? These are the questions that that in very short order Matt McMahon's going to have to get answered, because he's going to have to know if he's rebuilding an entire roster, save the walk-ons. And he very well may, because it's going to be months before we know what sanctions may be coming for this program. And a lot of the guys may choose not to stick around, and it's hard to blame them. So he's got a big task ahead of him, but he's got a lot of cover to give him the time and the patience to build this and to do it the right way over a long period of time. So Matt McMahon introduced today. We'll let you hear more from him as we move throughout the show. All right, it's After Further Review. Glad you're with us. Hump Day Show is brought to you by Pluckers. You know you can always email us, matt@1045espn.com. Tweet us at Matt Moscona. Jump in the Bayou YouTube chat or text us in the 225 at 396-4400, 396-4400, 396-4400. We'll grab a quick break, go around the SEC. Taylor, Calandro in 15 minutes for a little Bourbon Dictionary. Get your booze questions in, y'all. It's AFR.
AFR.
Better coverage for less money. I tell you about it every single day. So why haven't you called yet? Insurance Network of Louisiana. Online at lainsurance.net. 293-0450, 293-0450, 293-0450, or lainsurance.net. One thing I also want to stress, yes, they will get you better coverage for less money. That's what they do. They shop independently, so you save. 293-0450. But they also become your insurance agent. I'll give you an example. When I got hit on the bridge a few months back, I realized I didn't have my insurance card in my car. So I called Adam Zarang over at Insurance Network of Louisiana. I said, hey, I was just in a car wreck. Guy hit me from behind. I don't have my insurance card. He said, sit tight. I'm going to email your insurance card right away. Boom. Within a minute, I had it in my inbox. So you get that level of service as well from Insurance Network of Louisiana. 293-0450, 293-0450. Stop overpaying to be underinsured. Call Insurance Network of Louisiana. 293-0450.
Spring clean your garage with a newer pre-owned vehicle from Corval Toyota where you never pay over MSRP. There's no markups, no gains. So reserve yours today. So come on down to Happy Town. That's Corval Toyota in Opelousas. Happy Town, USA.
To the heroes who are working tirelessly to care for our communities, we thank you. We will never forget the countless hours you dedicated on the front lines, choosing to risk your own health to fight for our friends, neighbors, and family members.
I mean, you guys are out on the front lines fighting it.
We are grateful for your heroic acts and unwavering spirit. Together, we are overcoming this adversity and make our state healthier and more vibrant again. Ochsner Health.
If you're in an accident, a car accident, a slip and fall where you're injured, you need to call an attorney. The defendant insurance company, it's their goal to close the case as quickly as possible and pay out the least amount of money as possible. That's why it's important to call an attorney and call the law office of O.C. Brown.
At the law office of O.C. Brown, we're a family-owned firm. We want to be your law firm for a lifetime.
And this year, 2022, it's time to finally treat yourself. Bring your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service. You want the latest and greatest marine technology? You want to go to the place that has not one, but two NMEA-certified techs. Family-owned and operated by the Sherman family for 30 years, front-to-back is the answer in Baton Rouge for all of your custom boat needs. So head to fronttobackboatservice.com or find them on Facebook, Front to Back Boat Service.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Le posso offrire un caffè? Andiamo insieme da me, non c'è.
Call Mr. Electric today for electrical repairs, upgrades, and installations.
After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Presented by Plucker's Wing Bar. Open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
I don't want to go any further without sending our sincere well wishes to the people in Araby, the lower 9th Ward, certainly parts of Tangipahoa Parish. Man, just absolute devastation in those parts. If you're watching, the video is courtesy of Brandon Claymaw on Twitter. He's a cinematographer who has some drone footage of the area from the parish. I mean, it is just devastation. It's homes left in complete ruin. And that's an area that was overwhelmed by Katrina 17 years ago, rebuilt, and has a pretty extensive rebuild on their hands here again, judging by all of the images that we've begun to see today during the daylight. So I know everyone always says thoughts and prayers, and I would say yes. Please pray, by all means. If you are, I am a believer in the power of prayer, and to whomever it is you pray. I'm not casting any judgment there whatsoever. But also, let's put action behind those thoughts and well wishes and prayers. In the coming days, no doubt there are going to be organizations that have organized relief efforts, and I would encourage you to choose whichever one you're most called to and give if you can financially, give of your time, give whatever you can, because there's a lot of people who were just sincerely affected by those storms. So as always, a salute to the first responders who sprung into action, who saved lives, and to all of our neighbors and friends in that area, help is going to be coming. So if you can help in whatever way you can, please do. And if you know of organizations that are reaching out to help, I understand whenever we make a call like this, a lot of times we're inundated because we have a platform with people saying, well, this organization or this church or this civic group or whatever. But however we can, help and spread the message of how people can, we'll certainly let you know. So I'll leave it at that and move on for now. All right, it's after further review. We'll go around the SEC in just a quick second. We're brought to you by the Williamson Eye Center, 924-2020, 924-2020, or WilliamsonEYE.com, WilliamsonEYE.com. If you want to see 2020, call 924-2020. Dr. Blake Williamson, magnificent work. He did my LASIK. I could not be more thrilled. His professionalism, what he calls vocal local, as he talks you through the procedure, that's almost like a vocal anesthetic. It's incredible. If you go through a procedure with Dr. Blake, you'll understand exactly what I mean. But no matter your age or your refractive issue, if you want to see 2020 without contacts or glasses, there is a way to do it, and they have the answers for you. They have the solutions at the Williamson Eye Center, 924-2020, or WilliamsonEYE.com. Okay, we do it every day about this time. Let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, presented by Gulf Coast Office Products, excellence in imaging solutions. The Missouri Tigers.
Missouri's hired its new men's basketball coach. It's Dennis Gates. He becomes the 20th program leader in history. Spent the last 3 years as the head coach at Cleveland State. Won 2 Horizon League regular season titles. Made 1 NCAA tournament appearance. Also stints at Nevada, Florida State, Northern Illinois, Cal. Replaces Quanzo Martin, who was fired last season after 5 seasons with Mizzou.
The Tennessee Volunteers.
Rick Barnes has made some changes on his staff. He's promoted volunteer assistant Greg Polinsky to the assistant coaching role, filling the vacancy created by Mike Schwartz's departure. Schwartz was hired as the new head coach at East Carolina. So Barnes also promoted assistant Justin Gainey to associate head coach. That was the title Schwartz held for the last 3 seasons before he got the ECU job. Polinsky, by the way, 64 years old. He joined Tennessee's staff this past season after spending 23 years in the NBA.
The Vanderbilt Commodores.
Vandy associate head coach Ed Conroy, name should sound familiar, he's leaving the Commodores to become the head coach at the Citadel. Conroy previously coached Citadel from 2006 to 2010 before leaving for Tulane, where he coached from 2010 to 2016. Conroy is the uncle of Vanderbilt center Liam Robbins, who transferred to Vanderbilt this past season. Prior, he transferred from Drake to Minnesota when Conroy was working at Minnesota. So probably a good chance that Liam Robbins ends up at the Citadel at some point in the near future. On the diamond last night, Ole Miss's game against Memphis was canceled because of the weather. Of course, LSU and Louisiana Tech postponed until tonight. The games that did take place, fourth-ranked Vanderbilt had no issues with Belmont in the Nashville intra-city clash. 13-4, Vanderbilt a winner there. 17th-ranked Georgia went on the road to Georgia State in Decatur, won that game 10-3. Florida was at home against Bethune-Cookman, and Bethune-Cookman no pushover. Florida ekes out a 3-2 win. Bethune-Cookman had just one hit in the ball game, but were one run away from winning that one. Kentucky beat Morehead State in Lexington 7-5. Fifth-ranked Tennessee beat Butler 13-3. Auburn at home against South Alabama. It was a score fest. Auburn wins it 13-12. South Carolina got beat in Charleston by the Citadel 4-3. Rough start for the Gamecocks, who were just 10-10 on the young season. And A&M went to Rice and played in Houston. Picked up right where they left off at the series win in Baton Rouge, 15-8. Texas A&M all over Rice. There you have it. That is Around the SEC, presented by Gulf Coast Office Products. Shout out to our guy Trey Beal and our friends at Gulf Coast Office Products online at gcopnet.com, gcopnet.com for Gulf Coast Office Products. Face-to-face sales, service after the sale. That's what you get at Gulf Coast Office Products. Our buddy Trey Beal and the gang, they've been in business for 45 years, the official office equipment provider of the LSU Tigers, the New Orleans Saints, the New Orleans Pelicans, and the ULL Ragin' Cajuns. You need office equipment, you need Gulf Coast Office Products. GCOPnet.com. All right, it's after further review. It is a Whiskey Wednesday, which means our buddy Taylor Calandro joins us when we come back next. We'll talk a little booze. So you have booze questions, get them in. Email me, matt@1045espn.com. Tweet me, at Matt Moscona. Jump in the Bayou
Twitter world.
Juice. Jump in the Bayou Ford YouTube chat or text your question in the 225-396-4400, 396-4400, 396-4400. Your questions for Taylor are next on AFR.
AFR.
We're brought to you by Rouse's, where, of course, crawfish continues to be the headliner. It is crawfish season, and why would you go anywhere other than the place that boils more crawfish every single day in our state? That's Rouse's. You can find the location at rouses.com, rouses.com, rouses.com. And if the fact that in their in-house boiling rooms, they boil more crawfish every day than any other restaurant in Louisiana or any other place in Louisiana, how about the price? Incredible. You can buy live crawfish at Rouse's. You want to boil your own? Great. Rouse's is selling live crawfish for $2.99 a pound. What? $2.99 a pound live, and boiled right now, $3.69 a pound for 10 pounds. Absolutely incredible. You will not find prices that low anywhere else. It's only at Rouse's. Go to rouses.com, rouses.com. Rouses.com, of course. Rouse's, the official supermarket of LSU Athletics. Rouse's, this feels like home.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
This is a house call.
This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Ochsner.
Hey, look what I found!
The motivation I needed to live healthy. My new favorite sport.
I found my groove.
I found I'm part fish.
My second win when I needed it most.
I found more than a gym.
The affordable childcare this mom needed. Time for myself. We found our why.
Have you found yours?
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Presented by Plucker's Wing Bar. Open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
They're the gang with the slang. This is Bourbon Dictionary with Matt Moscona and Taylor Calandro.
All right, wrapping up hour number 1. We do it every Whiskey Wednesday. We visit with our buddy Taylor Calandros, Wine and Spirits Director over at Calandros. Talk a little booze, answer your questions. How are you, dude?
Good. About to do me a little Peloton ride. Did you just get a Peloton?
I did get a Peloton. So Friday will be 2 weeks. Haven't missed a day yet. I'm actually loving it, man. It was, so far, it's been a great investment for me.
I love it. I've been having mine for 3 weeks or a month.
Oh, we got about the same time. All right, so who's your favorite? Do you go by like instructor? Do you different kinds of rides? What do you do?
I've narrowed it down. I like Alex Toussaint.
Everybody loves that guy. Yeah,
he's freaking awesome. He's intense. He's not cheesy. I don't like the cheesy ones. Like, oh yeah, go out and kill the day today, man. No, I don't like that. This dude's like, no, I'm going to kill y'all today. Just get on the bike.
He's really good, for sure. All right, and when you ride, that means you've cleared enough calories then, so that way you can then drink. By the way, thank you for the invite today. Sorry I couldn't make it. They moved the Brian Kelly press conference from yesterday to today because of the weather. So why don't you fill everybody in on what went down today?
So today we did, it was like our 4th or 5th Makers Private Select. And, I mean, I invited you because I wanted you to see the process and everything. It's different than doing a single barrel pick where you just kind of taste through samples and pick your favorite barrel. You actually build the flavor profile through 10 staves. You can do a combination of 10 total staves, and it's 5 different stave flavors, and you can mix and match those as much as you like to. And it's really cool to do because they mix it right there on the spot. And for those people, I'm sure a lot of people don't know how this works. The Makers Private Select, they take cash drink Makers, that's 5-6 years old, and then they put it back in a barrel like Makers 46, which is the original Private Select, for nine more weeks with different types of staves, and that gives it the flavor. So you get in a cash drink bourbon, and the staves, in 9 weeks might not seem a lot, like a long time, but they really affect the flavor. And it's just cool to see how it changes because they have samples of everything of what it's going to taste like once you mix it. And they mix it together for you there and everything. So
very cool.
It's a cool little experience.
Can absolutely confirm. I've had plenty of the different the makers private selects, and they are. It's a really cool process. So I'm sorry I missed it today, but thank you for the invite. All right, let's get to some. Wait, before questions, I always ask what's new. Anything new over there?
Nothing really crazy new. I think we're going to be getting Nulu bourbon here pretty soon. Maybe tomorrow, maybe next week. I think it might be coming tomorrow. Nulu. It's from Louisville. It's MGP, but I know people have been asking for that. So
okay.
Well, look for that in the next week or so.
Here's one that says, "Ask Taylor, do you sell the Ingram Barge bourbon?"
Yes. I think it's the Barge. If it's the blue and gold label, we do have an Ingram. I think that's the one, yes.
Okay. Jeb Whitley said, favorite cocktail for when the weather changes for patio season?
Patio season, I talk about it all the time. My favorite summer whiskey drink is Jameson and ginger with a squeezed lime.
You do say that. You do say that often. You know what I really like when I want something, a whiskey drink that's refreshing? I love a mint julep. Like, yeah. I maybe that's not cool for a lot of people. It's very obviously it's a Kentucky Derby drink, but I love ordering a mint julep when it's hot outside.
No, I mean, what do you think people think when I say I like Jameson and ginger ale? They'll probably laugh.
That's true. Okay. Which brings us back to the point. Drink what you like. Trent Ritchie.
It's a judgment-free zone here.
Amen. It is a judgment-free zone. Drink what you like. Trent Ritchie, favorite peated scotch?
Oh, good Lord. Peated scotch is my favorite thing on earth. The best scotch I've ever had was Lafroig 40. I would say Lafroig or Lagavulin.
Brandon Frederick, what's a good sipping tequila without an outrageous price?
Go find, what is the name of it? I can't remember the freaking name of it now. There's one, and I've talked about it on the show. It's $40. It's produced by Heaven Hill. It's aged in Elijah Craig Barrel. Luna Zul Extra Añejo, Ultra Añejo. It's like $40, and it's finished in Elijah Craig barrels. It's fantastic.
Okay, you sell it?
Yes, we do. I don't know if we have any in stock right now, but we generally do.
Okay. John Troxler, what's the best Knob Creek?
Any barrel pick. And the Cash Strength Rye, that won gold at San Francisco Wine and Spirits Festival in 2018, I think. Absolutely outstanding for a higher end rye if you can find it.
Stephen Upshaw says, hey, Taylor, have you heard of this one? He sent me a picture. It's Purveyor's Series Double Wood Rye. John Emerald Distilling, Purveyor's Series Double Wood Rye.
Never heard of it.
Yeah, there's so many now. It's just like
it's I know it's crazy when people ask me for something. I'm like, what? It's just like there's so much now.
A couple more here. Taylor Calandro's with us. It's our Bourbon Dictionary segment. We do it every Whiskey Wednesday here to end hour number one. Ron Bryan said, "Hey Taylor, I'm looking for Taylor Tawny Port. Taylor Tawny Port."
I think we have some right now, and you're probably gonna think that's a stupid question. That's just a bottom end port, just for cooking or sipping or whatever. But it's been very hard to get lately.
Okay.
So it's a very popular brand too.
Okay.
I think we may have some, but I'm not 100% sure.
Landon Lambert asked Taylor, what's the best whiskey with a caramel flavor to it? Are you into flavored whiskey at all?
Not particularly. I'm trying to think of one that I've tried that I was like, man, this is okay. I can't really think of anything flavored that I've tried that I really liked. It all tastes kind of artificial to me.
Okay. Lee Allen said, what else besides Herb Saint can I use when I make my Sazerac? To be clear, and I believe me, endorsing Sazerac, I've learned this. There is an official recipe of Sazerac, and it includes Herb Saint. But I know a lot of people would use, what's the green? Absinthe, yeah.
I'm curious as to why he would not want to use Herb Saint, because Herb Saint is the more cost-efficient alternative to absinthe. You might just not like that bitter licorice taste that you get from the Herb Saint, which is a Sazerac, basically.
Yeah, I mean, so, then don't drink a Sazerac.
Drink an old-fashioned.
Order an old-fashioned, exactly. Lenson Mobile, any word on Stone Cold's beer, El Segundo Broken Skull?
I got asked for that like a year ago. I have no idea. I think you can get that in Texas, but I have not heard where that's coming here. Even if it did, it'd probably just sit on the shelf.
All right, we're under a minute. Derek Roussel, he said, I'm dropping by the store today for a 6-pack of beer before I play disc golf. What's the newest IPA I should grab?
We just got one from Gnarly Barley. It's a 4-pack, but it's called Sonar. I think it's a double IPA, and their IPAs are generally pretty spot on. So check that out.
Taylor Calandro, Wine and Spirits Director over at Calandro's. Well, this guy said he said it's supposed to be a gadget that ages bourbon with steam. Have you seen that? Does it work?
I've heard of different gadgets that expedite the process of aging for bourbon, and none of them produce the flavor that they get from actual aging in a barrel.
Yeah, don't rush it. Taylor Calandro, we always appreciate it, man. Thanks for the time. We'll chat again next week, man.
All right, man. See you.
All right, be well. We appreciate you. It is After Further Review. Stick around. When we come back, the buzzer will be here. Buzzy Haydel. We'll talk a little LSU baseball. Tigers back on the diamond tonight. Stick around.
AFR.
Brought to you by Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. Do business with someone you know. Say that every single day, especially on a day like today where we had just awful weather rip through the lower Ninth Ward, through Araby, through parts of Tangipahoa Parish. If you, family member, friend, someone was affected, obviously, or even if you're not in those areas that were affected by the tornadoes, if you're even in any part of Louisiana that was affected by the wind or heavy rain, you know we're here for you. We're proud to be a local company at Hudco Roofing, local ownership, been local for more than 20 years in Shreveport-Bossier. The office here in the southern part of the state, been open for nearly 2 years now. So at Hudco, we service the entire state. So no matter where you are in Louisiana, roof repairs, roof replacements, roof soft washing, gutters. We use Louisiana shingles as well, made in the Certainteed plant up in Shreveport. Louisiana people, Louisiana products, helping other Louisiana homeowners. It's Hudco Roofing. Do business with someone you know. Hudco.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Bayou Ford has 0.9% for 60 months on new Ford F-150 plus $1,000 bonus cash. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. And right now, get $1,000 bonus cash plus 0.9% APR for 60 months on new 2021 Ford F-150. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact Service Master Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. Service Master Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. The AFC shaken up again this offseason by a blockbuster trade. According to ESPN's Adam Schefter, the Dolphins acquired receiver Tyreek Hill from the Chiefs for 5 draft picks. First, second, and fourth round picks this year and fourth and sixth round picks next year. Hill opted to be traded to the Dolphins over the Jets. Miami is making Hill the highest paid receiver in NFL history. 4-year extension, $120 million, $72 million guaranteed. Hill's a huge ad for the Dolphins, and quarterback Tua Tagovailoa notes ESPN's Robert Griffin III.
He'll allow any quarterback to push the ball down the field because he's just simply faster than everybody. Tyreek Hill is one of the best receivers in all of football, and not just a game breaker down the field. His run after the catch is incredible. So this is an unbelievable acquirement by the Dolphins to get Tyreek Hill.
The Chiefs gave Hill permission to seek a trade amid stalled talks on an extension. NBA, Lakers ruled out LeBron James against the 76ers tonight because of knee soreness. 10 Eastern, ESPN Radio. Warriors are resting Draymond Green, Klay Thompson, and Otto Porter Jr. tonight in Miami.
Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max.
Aaron Rodgers, on the other hand, deserves everything he's been getting from the media because of how he has made everybody run behind him.
More from KJ and Max Thursday morning at 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on ESPN2.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios.
That's right.
Hour 2, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR presented by Pluckers. I'm Matt.
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate Matt.
Paul O'Neal.
They're chanting Paul O'Neal's name.
And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. 1 hour from right now, we'll chat with Kenny Roth. He is the color analyst on the Murray State Radio broadcast. Get a closer look at Matt McMahon, his style, his on-court style of play as the new LSU basketball coach was introduced today to the Baton Rouge media. Also, Brian Kelly did preview spring practice, which gets underway tomorrow on the Ponderosa. In 15 minutes, we're going to delve into the comments Brian Kelly made about Kayshon Boutte. If you haven't heard them yet, very interesting comments about Kayshon Boutte, what the past 3 months have been like for him, and what the future, the sort of uncertain future, may hold. Did give an injury update also. That's coming up in about 15 minutes from right now. Baseball Tigers are back on the diamond tonight against Louisiana Tech, a team that already beat them once earlier this year up in Ruston. Buzzy Haydel, former Tiger, member of the LSU Sports Radio Network, good enough to join us for a couple minutes, talk some baseball. How are you, Buzz?
I'm doing well, Matt. Thanks for having me. By my calculations, it's been a couple years since you had me on your show, so it's nice to be back.
Well, I thought you only did Saturday morning radio.
That's a good point. Yeah, that's a good point. I forgot about that.
And to be fair, there's a lot of Saturday mornings when you're not even doing radio.
True. And look, congratulations on all your accomplishments. I do think that the sports shorts needed to be in that picture the other day of all you guys. I forget what y'all got. Y'all received some award.
Yeah.
But we're part of the ESPN Radio too. So I speak for Ronnie Rance and Joel Davis on that as well.
Stick with the LSU Sports Radio Network, Buzz. Okay, let's talk about LSU tonight against Louisiana Tech. So for this game in particular, I'm curious your just general feeling on it. Coming off a disappointing weekend, now you're playing a team that already beat you. What realistically are you hoping to accomplish tonight, aside from to go out and win the game?
Well, as you always say, midweek games don't really matter. But after I tend to agree with that, but after a disappointing weekend, and then you've got the Florida Gators this weekend, a top 10 nationally ranked Florida Gator team that you got to go 2 games to go to play. I think if you coach Jay Johnson, you want to see intensity, you want to see fire, and you want to see. And now you're not going to see it tonight because obviously he's going to go with the pitching by committee guys, starting Helmers, and I'm sure we'll see, 7, 8 different pitchers, and it'll be a 5-hour game. But you'd like to see which is incredible. I did that game Saturday. It's like, literally 4 hours and 52 minutes.
Yep.
And that's okay if you win, but when you lose, it makes it even harder to stomach. But I just think you want to see a crisp ball game. Defensively, we know about that, how the woes they've had. They're not catching a baseball, which is just so uncharacteristic of an LSU baseball team that it's surprising. And I don't really know that you can put a finger on it. It's easy just to say, oh, well, the coaching staff must not emphasize it. But I don't agree with all that. But nonetheless, you want to see a good, clean game where they catch the baseball behind pitchers who throw a lot of strikes. And we haven't seen a whole lot of that either. And so Louisiana Tech's a good ball club. We've got some redemption on them. It's a lot better weather than it was a few weeks ago when we played in rust. And errors was kind of, was what did us in up there. You want a cleaner baseball game and get a good win against a very good team moving into the second weekend of conference.
No, you're right. It was cold and rainy and was on turf that night against Tech, so a little better conditions. No doubt better conditions tonight. Hey, what for you? Look, you mentioned you got to watch the whole game on Saturday. You've seen all the pitches this weekend, but what do you think the best defensive alignment? Defensive. I'm not taking into account offense. Best defensive alignment for this team.
Well, I think it's obviously DiGiacomo in the outfield and Merrifield at third base. Now, if you want to keep getting, really, you said it. You asked the question, more defense. So if you want to really go down the rabbit hole, it's probably taking Doty out at second base as well. He struggled a little bit there. Although I love Doty. I think he's a great player. But you're talking about a Will Stafford or somebody like that playing second base, and that's probably your best defensive. But, it's not Barry at third, and honestly, it's not Barry in right field. When does that time come that he DHs? I don't know, because Joe Bear, who was started off so hot, has kind of, cooled a little bit. I think that was the thought there of we got to have Joe Bear in the lineup, so you find a way to keep Barry on the field. But defensively, it's Merrifield at third, and it's DiGiacomo in the outfield. Dugas was a little under the weather this weekend, so we didn't see him as much. But I know he dropped that ball, Matt. I forgot. I think maybe it was a Tulane game. He dropped like a can of corn in left field. But he'll that's never going to happen again in his life. He's playing pro ball and all that. He's actually become a really good defensive outfielder, and I like Dugas in the outfield as well. But to me, that's it. Merrifield at third. DiGiacomo in right, and then, of course, everybody else where they are. Milazzo behind the plate is a no-brainer as well.
Now, Jay Johnson did say after the weekend that Barry is going to be in the field because they need that left-handed – he's a switch hitter, obviously, but they can't have such a right-handed dominant lineup. So Barry's going to be in the field. He sort of casually glossed over the fact that Barry could DH, but he's not going to, right? We understand Jay's going to play Jacob Barry in the field. So is third base the best spot for him?
Oh, this is the thing. Right, the outfield is not like it is in coach's pitch, right? Where you just hide the no offense to anybody's kid who's playing right field. Right now, but
all offense to your kid who stinks.
But look, it's, Matt. You stick the kid in right field and nobody ever hits it to him, and that's where you put the worst player on the team. But in college baseball and moving further up in professional baseball, the outfield's pretty important. They're all pretty important, but right field's a pretty important position. So, that I just don't think it's third base, Matt. I really don't. There's just too much there's too many balls hit down that way. You got to catch a baseball. You got to make a strong, accurate throw. There's a couple, there's more factors than just running down a baseball and catching it. Not saying that's super easy in the outfield either, because that, it's very difficult to play outfield in college. Do not get me wrong, but yeah, I don't think it's third base either. I think you got to put him in the outfield and just get fungo man after fungo man during practice and just will him to get better.
Buzzy Heidel's with us, former Tiger, national champion, now member of the LSU Sports Radio Network. Buzz, did you ever pitch at LSU?
I did. I don't know if that was a serious question or not, but I did. Yeah.
Okay. Well, because on the graphic it says former LSU pitcher. I thought you were an outfielder.
No, so I was an infield. See, what happened was that you know people don't realize this because my good buddy who I saw the other day actually looks good, Chad Jones. When they did the Chad Jones experiment, they brought and they started pitching him. You know, again, people don't realize this because I didn't get as many appearances as Chad did, and not in as more meaningful spots like Chad did. Although I did close out the SEC tournament game, but look, that's neither here nor there.
Congratulations,
but
Buzz.
He and I together late in the year, okay? And so we started throwing bullpens, doing the whole deal, and Coach Maneri figured out that Chad could be a valuable asset. And, you know, me at times, I could throw a few innings here and there, and so we actually started throwing together. So to answer your question in a long-about way, yes, I was a pitcher late in my career, you know, as a senior.
And 93 from the left side was hard to ignore. So
was hard to ignore.
Chad got a few innings.
That is when Coach figured out I couldn't hit, he was like, "Well, let's try to figure out a way to get this kid on the field." Buzzy, go through see if you can throw strikes.
Oh man, a couple more minutes here with Buzz. But you know what? It was fun. Also on Monday, got to chat with Buzzy for a good while after the Dreams Come True golf tournament. Paul Maneri was out there as well. I mean, he's great as always. I mean, he told a million stories, and he's just he's got such an incredible memory. Where I mean, he remembers like every pitch sequence of every at bat. It's incredible actually to listen to him talk.
It really is.
But, you know, we were also talking about when he took over the LSU program and, you know, some of the transition that he had to go through. And it feels like Jay Johnson's going through a little bit of that as well, where he's trying to mesh his style with the guys he had and the guys he brought in. And, like, how close, I mean, remembering that time, how close do you think this team is to legitimately being able to break through and, you know, being a team that, look, I mean, we were all disappointed by this weekend, but to break through and be a team this year maybe that could contend to be a host site?
Yeah, I'll go back to even the second year of Paul Maneri, which was 2008, which you remember, Matt, Coach was talking about that year at the end of the golf tournament the other day and how great it was. But that year was, again, this is still so early in this year. I don't want to compare them so much, but you know, in 2008, we ended up becoming a really good baseball team when halfway through that season we weren't. You feel, you know, but the comparison is we knew we had a good team in 2008. 2007 we struggled, and there was, you know, we knew that there were some things that needed to be cleaned up. We needed to bring in guys, you know, the DJ LeMayus of the world and that type of thing. But in 2008, when we had those guys, we were still losing, but it's like we didn't know how to win yet. Once we started figuring out how to win, of course, we went on a 23-game win streak. You feel like this team is somewhat like that, although last year they were in a super regional. I mean, they were 2 wins away from Omaha.
Yeah.
So you can't, you know, I don't want to compare it in that sense because this team is, you know, Coach Maneri left a lot of pieces, really good pieces to this team over to Jay Johnson. And so they're close. I mean, they just need to find the right pieces to the puzzle. In the bullpen, obviously on the mound, Blake Money's going to be a big key. Yeah. They've got to figure out a way, Matt, for starters to not give you the starters are throwing 2 and 3 innings. I mean, well, of course they're throwing 8 and 9 guys, you know, a game when you got to bring a guy in the third to piece it all the way together to the ninth. So they've got to figure out a way to get their starters throwing 5 and 6 innings to start a game. Offensively, they're going to be fine. And I really do believe defensively they're going to be fine, although until they start catching the ball, we're not going to really know that. But there's just too many. You know, Jordan Thompson's too good at shortstop. Trey Morgan's too good at first base. You know, Milazzo, we know what he does behind the plate. Cruz in center. They're going to be fine defensively. I really do believe that, and they're close. I mean, I wouldn't look too far into this weekend about how they played and losing to Texas A&M in very close ball games.
27 to go. They got a lot of time to figure it out, but they still got to do it. When are you going to be on the call next?
I've got, let's see, they're out of town this weekend. That is a good question, Matt. I believe maybe I got next week at ULM. I'll have some of these Sundays coming up too when Doug Thompson's got to go coach his son's little league teams. I'll have some of these Sundays coming up when they're back in the box.
Well, it's a good thing it's Sunday because we know on Saturday you got sports shorts duty, so we don't want to interrupt any of that. Buzzy Haydel, LSU Sports Radio Network, former Tiger. Thanks, Buzz. Appreciate it, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Good seeing you today too, Matt.
Yeah, man. Be well. We appreciate it as always. All right, it's after further review. Let me knock out a quick break. When we come back, I want to delve deeper into some of what Brian Kelly had to say today. He had some very interesting comments about Kayshon Boutte. That's next. It's AFR.
AFR.
Hump Day shows brought to you by Pluckers, Nicholson, Bluebonnet, Dine and Carry Out, 24 flavors of award-winning jumbo chicken wings, ice cold draft beer, full-service bar, sports on TV. Tonight, baseball at the box. If you're getting out to the box, you want a bite to eat before you go into the box, get by Pluckers. That Nicholson location is walking distance from Alec Box Stadium, right there on Nicholson, just south of the box. Maybe you're going to the game, you want to get a bite to eat after. Remember, Pluckers is open till midnight or later every night of the week. So if we have another 5-hour baseball game, God forbid, but if we have another one and you want to eat after the game, Pluckers is going to be open for you. NCAA tournament, the Sweet 16 is coming up this weekend. Of course, if you want to watch all of the basketball action, your favorite NBA team, every single NBA game in every single market, they got it. Basically, any sport in any league, anywhere in the world, anytime, they got it at Pluckers. Nicholson, Bluebonnet, dine-in, carry-out, or delivery via Uber Eats or DoorDash. It's Pluckers, where if you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
Bayou Ford has 0% for 60 months on new Ford F-150s plus $1,000 bonus cash. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. And right now, get $1,000 bonus cash plus 0% APR for 60 months on new 2021 Ford F-150. Shop now at BayouFord.com. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
During these challenging times, we know your healthcare needs don't stop. Cancer, accidents, injuries, and heart disease are relentless. So we are relentlessly innovating to keep you safe, both virtually and in person, connecting you with providers remotely, advancing clinical spaces, providing rapid and accurate testing, social distancing, and certified cleaning protocols. We are Auctioner, and we will not slow down. Auctioner Health, innovating healthcare.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you were born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and
After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Presented by Pluckers Wing Bar. Open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Pluckers Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
All right, thanks for rolling along with us here. Remember, Sweet 16 coming up this weekend. You need a place to watch all the action. Get by Pluckers, Nicholson, or Bluebonnet. Overrated, underrated, a little more than 10 minutes from right now. We're going to head up to Murray, Kentucky in about 40 minutes. Kenny Roth, color analyst on the Murray State Radio Network. He'll be with us to talk a little Matt McMahon on court. Want to delve deep into what we can expect on the court from Matt McMahon's LSU Tigers as the new coach was introduced to the media earlier today. So Brian Kelly previewed spring. It was supposed to happen on Tuesday, but the inclement weather pushed the press conference to today, Wednesday, as LSU's on the practice field tomorrow, Thursday, for the first spring of the Brian Kelly era. First, Brian Kelly did talk about what he's liked from his team so far since he took over in December and they've gone through all of these preseason workouts.
I've been really pleased with the consistency of approach. Guys are certainly in a new environment with new standards, and like anybody else, it's been hard. It's not been easy for them. You know, we're all creatures of habit, and the habits that they had were different. And so there's been a give and take, a push and a pull, if you will. But I got to tell you, as I stand here before you, I don't know that I would be saying this, is that I'm really excited about the overall group in terms of their grit. They want to do this. This is important to them. Even though it hasn't been easy on a day-to-day basis.
They have been working, conditioning, getting ready for this spring, and it is interesting. Again, you're talking about a collective of players that have largely been together. Now, you do have some transfers, but you're talking about a collective of players largely that have been together, but a new coaching staff, a new voice, a new way of doing things, and that's all changing. Now, Brian Kelly did go through an injury update. Give a listen as he told you a mostly healthy roster, especially considering what he inherited back in December.
From an injury standpoint, we've got, I would say, Armani Goodwin is going to be back. He's healthy. I mean, I know he's a guy that's been out for a while. I think from defensive standpoint, I think we look pretty good across the board, other than Major Burns will probably, with his foot, not be available for us for most of the spring. Garrett Dellinger is coming back from shoulder surgery. He won't be available for us. But by and large, it looked like a very MASH kind of list when I got here. Looks really good, going into the spring in terms of having a number of players available.
For what it's worth, the rosters that were given us, Deion Smith, wide receiver, not on the roster. A lot of people have asked about Deion Smith when he announced he entered the portal. And then there was like that sort of cryptic Instagram video where he was coming back to Baton Rouge. And I told you then, it was just the end of the semester. Dude was just coming back to get the mini fridge. I mean, his stuff was here. It was. I don't know that he's thinking about returning to the football program, but no Deion Smith and no Joe Evans, which would be a loss. I mean, he's got played a lot of football on the defensive line for you. But Armani Goodwin, running back who battled a lot of injuries last year, he's good to go. And then the two that you're going to be without are Burns and Dellinger, one on each side of the ball. Interestingly enough, he didn't mention the best player on the team. And that's Kayshon Boutte. It wasn't until the very last question of the press conference that Brian Kelly was asked about his relationship with Kayshon Boutte, who, if you remember, I want to refresh your memory, okay? Because I understand you go several weeks without talking about it, you're not thinking about it. It's baseball, it's basketball coaching search, March Madness, all that stuff. But Kayshon Boutte was gone. Kayshon Boutte was going to enter the portal, and I would bet my life savings he was going to be a receiver at Alabama right now, but for Gordon McKernan stepping in and signing him to a lucrative NIL deal to keep him here. But that said, Boutte has still had to go through an awful lot. The foot injury and getting reacclimated and having a new coaching staff and new coordinators and new everything, not knowing who his quarterback's going to be. The NIL deal kept him here, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's kept him happy. So there's your context, all right? Listen to Brian Kelly when he asked about his relationship with Kayshon Boutte.
We're in the process of building a relationship. We're, I would say, I know his last name right now. And I say that only because we're in that process of he's re-engaging. He's been injured. He's had a second surgery, but we're getting more acquainted every day. Look, he's a great player. He's a good kid, but this has been a rough spot for him. And what happens is you tend to get distracted because you're not involved in everything. But he's learning you got to be involved in everything, whether you're injured or not. And that's a process that he's going through, and we're seeing some really good changes. We had a nice conversation in the training room this morning where he's on top of his academics, and he's making good progress. But the good part about it is the surgery was successful. He's making good progress. He's in a walking boot right now, and that's really the most important thing. The rest of the stuff, we'll work it out between the two of us. I'm not that hard-headed. He's a good player.
I love to hear that. I'm not that hard-headed. He's a good player. Meaning, he knows he needs Kayshon Boutte. Y'all, LSU's scoring average dropped by a touchdown after Boutte's injury. When he played the first half of the season, was injured at Kentucky. It's not hard to see what happened to LSU offensively when Boutte got hurt. You lost the guy who tilts the field, the game breaker. You lost the most dynamic, explosive player on your entire roster. It ain't hard to see what happened, okay? So I love that Brian Kelly said that. It's like, I'm not going to run the best player. It reminded me of Bobby Bowden. Bobby Bowden, when Florida State was playing the national championship in New Orleans, 1999, they're playing Virginia Tech, and Sebastian Janikowski got in a fight on Bourbon Street, got arrested, something like that. Bobby Bowden was, I'm paraphrasing, hey, you going to suspend Janikowski? He said, heck no, I'm not going to cut off my nose to spite my face. He knew he needed it. He was an All-American kicker. He's playing for a national championship. Of course he's going to play the kid. And, of course, Brian Kelly needs Kayshon Boutte. The reason Brian Kelly is at LSU is because you can't get Kayshon Boutte up to South Bend, Indiana. That's why he's here. He's here to win a championship, and he knows he needs players. Brian Kelly even made a crack today where he was like, look, I understand you're not just going to win with great people. You need players. Not to say they can't be both, but he understands why he's here. He could win a lot of games at Notre Dame, but inevitably he would run up against an Alabama or a team like that in a playoff, a BCS scenario, and we saw how it would go. So you need Kayshon Boutte and Kayshon Boutte's. You need them on the roster. So good for Brian Kelly for recognizing that and trying to work it out. But similarly, there's a little bit of tough love there. He said, look, he's a good kid. He's a great player. And he's re-engaging. I think the hardest part for Boutte is, what do they say about idle minds? You're talking about a guy who's been hurt since the Kentucky game. The breaking news there from Brian Kelly is that Boutte had a second surgery, which nobody's really known about yet. So Boutte had the second surgery. He's in a walking boot. So, I mean, that Kentucky game, you're going back to October, November, December, January, February, March. Talking 5 months, man. Almost half a year. This dude has been in a walking boot. He's been out of commission. He's not been able to play or practice. The coaching staff gets fired. A new coach comes in. He was going to leave, but now he's back. Gets the NIL. I mean, think about it. So that's what Brian Kelly's detailing, saying it's been a tough spot for him. He's been injured. He's been away. And now he's got to re-engage. The tough love that Brian Kelly said was like, you got to be involved in everything, whether you're injured or not. And that's part of the change of a different voice and a different culture, which Brian Kelly is changing. Ed Orgeron didn't have that, y'all. And it's obvious. I'm not here to kick Ed, but you're seeing a very obvious contrast in the way it was and the way it's going to be. And the way it was is why LSU ended up 500. And Brian Kelly's not coming in here to play that. But he knows he needs Kayshon Boutte, so he's got to find that balance to let this kid know we need you, but we need you also to play by the rules. And it sounds like Boutte is re-engaging. The great news is the second surgery went well. He's healing. He's got his academics in order. They had a good conversation today in the training room. That's going to be a process. It's going to be a process to develop to get Boutte on board. But look, I have a feeling Kayshon Boutte's out there at practice in his walking boot, and he watches 5 sling it around. Jaden Daniels is going to wear 5 here. Nussmeier switches number to 13. So you got Jaden Daniels out there wearing number 5, and he watches him sling it around. And he realizes what the possibilities are going to be for him in this offense. And these coaches can sit there and spell out to Kayshon Boutte, what the possibilities are in this offense for him in what is his money year. It's going to be pretty easy for him, I think, to re-engage once he's healthy, to get back out there and help this team win ball games in year 1 under Brian Kelly with Den Brock drawing up plays and what is going to make him the focal point of this offense. So, yes, Kayshon Boutte, that was fascinating to hear when Brian Kelly essentially said, look, I mean, I know his last name. That's about the extent of their relationship right now. That is going to be a work in progress, but it is going to be important that those two end up on the same page because Boutte is just a massive part of what LSU is and is going to be offensively. There's no way around that. He is the game breaker offensively for this team, and if he's not there, you are just not as good. There's no other way to say it. So, a very honest, realistic look at this situation, but also a situation where if you listen to the comment, you take it for face value, you can see that there's light at the end of the tunnel there with Kayshon Boutte. All right, it's after further review. We have more from Brian Kelly. We will, next hour, get into a lot of what Brian Kelly said about roster makeup, some position battles. That's all coming up in about 45 minutes. So if you have to go, come back in about 45 minutes. We got more LSU football talk. All right, we're going to go overrated, underrated when we come back. Muslav Tigers and the pros. We're going to go up to Murray, Kentucky in about 30 minutes from right now. We got a ton to do. Pumped to have you aboard with us here. Don't you move. It's AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by Clegg's Nursery. Buy local, shop local at Clegg's Nursery for 60 years. Man, the weather is gorgeous. That awful weather yesterday has passed through. You woke up this morning, a little nip in the air. It was fantastic. 50 degrees when you woke up. Getting up to the upper 60s today. Perfect time to get in the garden to just plant something. I tell you what, if you're seeing that green come back into your yard, but you're also noticing the clover, the weeds in your grass, get by Clegg's Nursery. They have that weed-killing cocktail for your lawn to make sure that it is plush and full and beautiful and weed-free this spring and into the summer. Get on by Clegg's Nursery. You need the Spartan Mosquito Eradicator. If those mosquitoes are starting to get popped on your arm again, they got it for you at Clegg's Nursery. Any of their 4 locations: Seagant near Airline, LA 16 in Denham, Mid-City on Donmore, and the Garden Center on Greenwell Springs for more than 60 years. I've been telling you, buy local, shop local, and be sure to tell them Matt sent you in to Clegg's Nursery.
I've got that blue sky, I've got that sunshine.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
To the heroes who are working tirelessly to care for our communities, we thank you. We will never forget the countless hours you dedicated on the front lines, choosing to risk your own health to fight for our friends, neighbors, and family members.
I mean, you guys are out on the front lines, fighting it.
We are grateful for your heroic acts and unwavering spirit. Together, we are overcoming this adversity and make our state healthier and more vibrant again. Ochsner Health.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Bayou Ford has 0.9% for 60 months on new Ford F-150 plus $1,000 bonus cash. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. And right now, get $1,000 bonus cash plus 0.9% APR for 60 months on new 2021 Ford F-150. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
If you're in an accident, a car accident, a slip and fall where you're injured, you need to call an attorney. The defendant insurance company, it's their goal to close the case as quickly as possible and pay out the least amount of money as possible. That's why it's important to call an attorney and call the law office of O.C. Brown.
At the law office of O.C. Brown, we're a family-owned firm. We want to be your law firm for a lifetime.
And this year, 2022, it's time to finally treat yourself. Bring your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service. You want the latest and greatest marine technology? You want to go to the place that has not one, but 2 NMEA certified techs. Family owned and operated by the Sherman family for 30 years. Front to back is the answer in Baton Rouge for all of your custom boat needs. So head to fronttobackboatservice.com or find them on Facebook, Front to Back Boat Service.
Failure happens to us all, but it's how champions evolve. The only thing that matters from a loss is if you get back up when you fall. You gotta get up. Failure happens to us all.
After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Presented by Plucker's Wing Bar. Open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
All right, glad to have you rolling with us here. Love telling you about Relief Windows, reliefwindows.com. All right, we're going to do overrated, underrated in just a quick second. I promise I won't hijack the segment, although it is kind of my segment to hijack. That's sort of the point, isn't it, Muse? For me to hijack the segment?
No.
So that is kind of the point.
That is not the point of the segment.
Tigers and the Pros is your segment, and I hijack it. But, I mean, in the sense of overrated, underrated, it is it's just my answers. I can answer however I want. You know it's not overrated. Relief Windows, 288-8138. Amazing windows, actually. A windows, doors, and siding. I got a message from someone on the text line. It was like, hey, I just want siding. Do they do that? Yes, absolutely. If you just want siding, they'll just do that. If you just want an entry door, they will just do that. If you just want windows, they do that. They do it all inclusively or exclusively. If you're building a home, I would highly recommend, if you were building a home, call Relief Windows. Remember, their windows come with a lifetime transferable warranty. So you install them once, you're done forever. You're building your dream home, install Relief Windows once, you'll never pay for windows again. Hello. 288-8138 or reliefwindows.com. All right, Muso. Let's do a little overrated, underrated.
Overrated or underrated?
I personally think he's criminally underrated.
Presented by Cellivate. Cellivate is a revolutionary health-aware approach to energy, focus, and mood enhancement.
All right. You ready?
Do it.
I know you love it.
It's so good.
Are you ready? A really good sound effect here. Hold on.
God.
You love it. You love it, don't you?
It never gets old.
By the way, the so you know, Watermelon Blast, the best flavor of Cellivate, in my opinion. Available at Rouse's and at Mathern's. Rouse's, Mathern's. If you want Cellivate, you can pick it up at Rouse's or Mathern's. Don't just hydrate. Cellivate. Does it bother you when people slurp?
Well, not like that. Out of a straw, yeah.
So, like, when you get to the bottom of a drink?
Yeah, I don't like that.
I'm the kind of guy, if there's something left in there, I'm getting it. Like,
no, I hear you, but take the top off and drink it regularly.
No.
Yeah.
Get a smoothie, it's coming out. I'm getting it. Like, same with toothpaste. Like, toothpaste, the tube, I will lay it flat, and I will go from the base, and I will, like, jam it all the way, get every last ounce of toothpaste.
Sure. I did that this morning. Yeah. And first of all, you should always squeeze from the bottom of the tube. Do not squeeze from the middle of the tube.
What are you, a Neanderthal?
Clearly. Like, clean it up.
Don't just grab the middle and just squeeze it.
That is a major pet peeve of mine.
Agreed.
But yeah, no, that. I mean, honestly, what you just did with the can, that just reminds me of Home Alone and the kid who wets the bed. Every time they show him, he just slurps his Coke. Like that's what that
was
reminds
it Coke
me.
Or was it Pepsi?
It was one. I don't know. It was a soft drink. I don't know.
I hope it was Coke.
Yeah.
Pepsi. Who drinks
overrated? Pepsi overrated? That's what you're getting at right now?
No, nobody likes Pepsi, so I think it's properly rated.
Okay.
I mean, tell me you haven't
like
had
Pepsi or Pepsi products.
No, like I like Mountain Dew.
Yeah, like Sierra Mist is pretty good.
Yeah, Mr. Pibb, right?
Oh, God,
those are good.
So good.
I'm good with that. But Pepsi Cola.
Oh yeah, not good.
It's like, have you ever gone to a restaurant? Let me rephrase. You've done this because we've all done this. I'll have a Coke. Pepsi, okay? No, give me a
whatever else.
Yeah, fill in the blank.
Overrated or underrated? Spring cleaning. Getting to be that time.
Overrated, you slobs. Don't be messy throughout the year. just take care of your ish. Next.
All right. Overrated or underrated blue cheese?
Seriously. What? Will you just let your house go to holy hell during the winter? Don't be a slob. Pick up after yourself. Sweep, mop the floor. Like, don't be a slob.
I think a lot of people maybe use spring cleaning sometimes to maybe go through some old things, maybe like clean out a storage room or something like that.
Well, you can't do that when it's winter?
No, but sometimes it just gets cluttered throughout the year. It's not like
room.
Not like you're just
a storage room,
a shed, whatever you call it.
You got lots of stuff.
Lots of stuff.
You get married, you double your stuff. Then you have 4 daughters. What are you going to do with all that stuff? Dependable Storage wants your stuff. That's a great spot, by the way. Skip Bertman. If you're not familiar, there's a commercial with Skip Bertman talking about dependable storage. What are you going to do with all that stuff? Lots of stuff. So good. It's so good. Like, I don't need a storage unit. I kind of want to go get one just because I want to go lots of stuff. Yeah. I need lots of stuff. Anyway. Spring cleaning, overrated. Don't be a slob. Take care of your house all throughout the year.
Overrated or underrated? Blue cheese.
Okay. Are we talking about blue cheese dressing or the blue cheese crumble?
Let's go dressing.
Blue cheese dressing is overrated. It's thick. I don't like the texture. But I'm not just saying what I like in this, because there are things where I'll say it's underrated even if I don't like it. I think blue cheese is an inferior product. It's not very healthy. It's full of fat. The texture is bad. I don't know why they serve blue cheese. Blue cheese crumble, however, I think is a perfect accent on a salad, to where if you have blue cheese crumble an adequate amount, you really don't even need dressing. The blue cheese crumble is a good enough accent to where you don't need dressing. So blue cheese crumble, I think, is underrated. Blue cheese dressing, just if blue cheese dressing was gone from the face of the earth for the rest of eternity, I'm good.
Overrated or underrated?
What do you store a whole bunch of blue cheese in your pantry during the winter and you got to clean it out in the spring?
Clean it out. You got to make a bunch of wings. You got to
slob.
What else?
Don't ever give me blue cheese with my wings. When I go to Pluckers, I want a tub of ranch.
Oh yeah.
Anyone who gets blue cheese with your wings, you're a Neanderthal. You probably are the same person that needs to spring clean because you're a slob and you let your house get all messy during the winter.
You probably also squeeze from the middle of the toothpaste tube.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Overrated or underrated? Jennifer Lawrence.
You're going to have to help me here because I don't think I know Jennifer Lawrence.
Wow, you don't know J-Law? Let's see.
J-Law.
J-Law, yeah.
Sorry.
Hunger Games.
Never saw it.
Silver Linings Playbook.
Never saw it.
What was was it American Gangster or something like that?
Never saw it.
Wow. So, I mean, is this just like a wash here?
Paulie, you are the gatekeeper of all things rational here. Jennifer Lawrence, overrated or underrated?
I would say properly rated.
Muse, I'm going to go with properly rated.
Okay. Overrated or underrated? Sauce with crawfish. Boiled crawfish, mind you.
Are you asking me about taking the crawfish tail?
Some people do it, man.
The beautifully boiled crawfish tail.
Mm-hmm.
The perfectly seasoned crawfish tail.
Yep.
After that little critter gave up its life in a pot of boiling water, which was seasoned to perfection with boil and some type of citrus, along with things like celery and onions and gorgeous mushrooms and whatever else people may like to put in there that creates that cornucopia of amazing goodness that we only get to experience seasonally here, the aroma that wafts through the air and we all indulge in it knowing what time it is. And then when I get that perfect peel and pinch and there is that beautiful crawfish tail, are you suggesting I take that piece of perfection and dunk it into sauce?
People do it.
If you do that, you're a Neanderthal. You're the same type of person that eats blue cheese and needs spring cleaning. What are you doing dunking your crawfish tail? And look, I see it with cane sauce all the time. By the way, cane sauce, magnificent. Todd Graves, I love you. It's my guy. Wonderful. We all get it. Don't put your crawfish in sauce. What are you doing? sauce. I'm trying to taste crawfish. That's people who put steak sauce on their steak. I don't
do
steak
that.
sauce. I want a steak.
Steak sauce on a burger, though, real good, actually.
Sauce is meant to amplify the flavor of something that's generic and bland. Crawfish is the antithesis of that. If you're eating boiled crawfish and dunking your crawfish tail in sauce, don't ever come near me. I don't want to see you. You're going to ruin my meal. Go back to your shanty. Your filthy, dirty, in need of spring cleaning shanty with your sauce and your crawfish.
Just saying, people do it.
I know, and it's humiliating.
It's bad.
It's
not good.
embarrassing.
If you want to dip the corn and stuff,
Poop.
then I'll poop out of your mouth.
Poop mouth.
Potatoes and cane sauce. Now that's solid.
If you want to do that with corn, with potatoes, fine. I like butter on my potatoes. You want to use
so
cane
good.
sauce instead of butter? Okay. Not the crawfish.
Butter and garlic onto the potato. So good. That's overrated or underrated.
Presented by Cellivate. Feel the boost. Feed the body. Check out Cellivate. Energize your cells. It's the energy drink that tastes great. It reduces brain fog and stress. It's got antioxidants and cellular support. It's going to hydrate you while also giving you the boost you need. Don't just hydrate. Cellivate. Wish I could crack the top again, Muse. But I can't crack the top again, so I'll give you one of these.
I was going to say, just go get another one. I know you have more.
All right. I'm telling you, man. People who dunk their crawfish. It's offensive. All right, we'll do Tigers and the Pros coming up. Brought to you by GMFS Mortgage. GMFSmortgage.com. Changing lives since 1999. Home buy, refi, construction loans. Did you see last week? Did you see what happened last week? I've been telling you this for years. The historically low interest rates, not going to last forever. Last week, for the first time in 3 years, the Fed hiked interest rates. First time in 3 years. Now, they ain't done, but you're still at amazing, historically low levels. Don't wait for the next rate hike. It's still a great deal, not as great as it was 7 days ago. GMFSmortgage.com. Do not wait. Start that process today of refinancing your mortgage. Lower your monthly mortgage payment. Skip a payment or two. Shorten the life of your mortgage. I did it last year. Process was simple. I don't even think I went to an office. I e-signed everything. So easy. GMFSmortgage.com. GMFS Mortgage. Changing lives. Okay, Muse will have Tigers and the Pros next.
AFR.
Spring clean your garage with the new or pre-owned vehicle from Corval Toyota. It's an easy process to pre-order your next vehicle with us. So reserve yours today. Come on down to Happy Town. That's Corval Toyota in Opelousas. Happy Town, USA.
Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust poll of the day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, Hunt and Hill, The Early Line. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the poll of the day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
If home is where the heart is, a roof is a shield. That's why for over 25 years, South Louisiana always turns to Garcia Roofing and Sheet Metal. For more information, visit GarciaDidMyRoof.com.
Hey, look what I found! The motivation I needed to live healthier.
My new favorite sport.
I found my groove. I found I'm part fish.
My second win when I needed it most.
I found more than a gym.
The affordable childcare this mom needed. Time for myself. We found our why. Have you found yours?
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare. at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Presented by Plucker's Wing Bar. Open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
All right, more of what Brian Kelly had to say in about 20 minutes from right now. But right now, Musso has Tigers in the Pros.
Tigers in the Pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now. Presented by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, where Baton Rouge gets engaged.
We started with some action from the G League last night. A couple really nice nights for former Tigers. Tremont Waters and the South Bay Lakers. 24 minutes for Tremont off the bench. 16 points in that effort. 3 assists. Stole the ball 4 times. All over the field. 6 of 11 from the floor. 4 of 7 from range. Really nice night for Tremont. The South Bay Lakers, much like the Los Angeles Lakers, though, they lost. Oh, I like this. Yeah. All right. I see what you're doing. I actually kind of like it. The Sioux Falls Skyforce. Javonte Smart, 34 minutes in a starting role. 10 of 18 from the floor. Drops 30 on the Birmingham Squadron. Added 9 rebounds and 5 assists. Pretty solid night there for Javonte. I should also add 2 steals for the former Tiger as well. Spring training baseball earlier today. The Detroit Tigers, the Pittsburgh Pirates, they played to a 6-6 tie. Alex Lang recorded a hold, his first hold of the spring. Fired 1 shutout inning, perfect inning, as a matter of fact, with 1 strikeout. Needed the outing. His ERA in the spring sits at 9. Also in spring training baseball, the Houston Astros defeated the St. Louis Cardinals 10-3. Alex Bregman, a 1-for-3 day for Houston with a run scored. Did strike out twice. Breggs so far hitting .333 not only today but for the spring. And then Kramer Robertson on the other side for the Cardinals. Did get a pinch hit at bat, just one 0 for 1, struck out, still looking for his first hit of the spring. NBA action tonight. You can see plenty of former Tigers as the Hawks travel up to Detroit to face the Pistons. So maybe a little bit of Skylar Mays there. The Brooklyn Nets travel to face the Memphis Grizzlies. You can see some Cam Thomas. Timberwolves and Naz Reid in action. They're hosting the defending Western Conference champion Suns. And then finally, the Trailblazers, the nightcap, they host the Spurs. You know Trendon Watford's going to be all over the floor there. That is Tigers in the pros. And uninterrupted Tigers in the pros.
Oh, are you done?
Yeah.
Oh.
It was great.
How'd it go?
Well, all the information out. No missteps. It's good.
And you mean you didn't screw up Tremont Waters and Trendon Watford like you do every day?
I didn't.
Did you continue to omit the golfer Curtis Thompson that you hate?
I don't hate Curtis Thompson.
Why do you hate him?
He's not in either event.
I keep getting a text from this guy that's like, why does Muse hate Curtis Thompson?
I don't hate Curtis Thompson.
Why does he hate?
I don't. See, this is what happens. It's you interrupting me that screws everything up.
Now you're not letting me talk about Lee Michaels because you won't stop talking. It's my turn to talk now. Look, we're out of time. Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, lmfj.com.
AFR.
Brought to you by Shaw Bills Tire and Auto Service. ShawBillsTire.com. Bumper to bumper auto service and name brand tires at wholesale prices. I got to go to Shaw Bills tomorrow. I drove Erica's car yesterday. The oil change is due. Service due thing was flashed up on the dash. I was like, how long has that been flashing on the dash? She's like, I don't know. You're the man. You're supposed to get the oil changed. I'm like, well, I can't get the oil changed if I don't know that it's flashing on the dash. So, gentlemen, because you're the man and you're supposed to get the oil changed, make sure you go into your wife, girlfriend, fiance, significant other's car. Make sure that the oil has been changed recently. It is up to date. But it's not just oil changes, of course. Bumper to bumper auto service and name brand tires at wholesale prices. No one's going to sell you the best tires on the road for cheaper prices than Shaw Bills, guaranteed. ShawBillsTire.com. Shaw Bills, where we keep you rolling.
Bayou Ford has 0.9% for 60 months on new Ford F-150 plus $1,000 bonus cash. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. And right now, get $1,000 bonus cash plus 0.9% APR for 60 months on new 2021 Ford F-150. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Posso offrire un caffè? Andiamo insieme da me, non c'è.
Call Mr. Electric today for electrical repairs, upgrades, and installations.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. The latest move in a wild NFL offseason involves receiver Tyreek Hill. ESPN's Adam Schefter's reporting the Chiefs traded him to the Dolphins for 5 draft picks, 1st, 2nd, and 4th round picks this year, 4th and 6th round picks next year. Hill's being made the highest paid receiver in NFL history by the Dolphins. 4-year, $120 million extension, $72 million guaranteed. Kansas City gave Hill permission to seek a trade amid stalled talks on a contract extension. The Chiefs' thought process behind the trade explained by Schefter.
Rather than pay Tyreek Hill the money he wants, even though he arguably is the most explosive player in all of football, they are taking a different course. And they're going to get younger and cheaper at the wide receiver position and think that in the long term, they're hoping that they're better off.
Adam Schefter, Hill chose Miami over the Jets. NBA, Lakers ruled out LeBron James tonight against the 76ers because of knee soreness, 10 Eastern, ESPN Radio. The Warriors resting Draymond Green, Klay Thompson, and Otto Porter Jr. tonight against the Heat, the second night of a back-to-back.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Progressive makes bundling easy and affordable. Get a multi-policy discount by combining your car, home, motorcycle, commercial auto, and more. All your protection in one place. Bundle and save at Progressive.com.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios. That's right.
Hour 3, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR presented by Pluckers. I'm Matt.
Love you, Matt.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Yusuf. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. 5 o'clock quitting time. Glad you're driving home with us. 15 minutes from right now, we'll jump back into what Brian Kelly had to say today. Previewing spring football for LSU. He went deep dive into the rosters, the numbers, the position battles, positions where they're still looking to add players. That's coming up in about 15 minutes. Today, we also met Matt McMahon, LSU's new head basketball coach. Former Murray State head basketball coach. Kenny Roth is the color analyst on the Murray State radio broadcast. Good enough to join us to tell us about the Tigers' new man. Kenny, we appreciate a couple of minutes. How are you?
Great to join you, and congratulations to Matt. I haven't gotten a chance to speak to him formally since he left Murray, but just so excited, and he's going to do a wonderful job for the Tigers.
You know, Kenny, it's odd. Normally when a coach leaves a place, there's usually a lot of hurt feelings. It's the exact opposite from everyone we've talked to there in Murray, Kentucky. Why is that? Did we lose him? Okay, let's see if we can get him back. How about that? First thing out of his mouth is a congratulations to Matt McMahon. I mean, contrast that to the feeling out of South Bend and nationally when Brian Kelly left Notre Dame for LSU. I know what you're going to say. Well, it's not the same. They were in a playoff race. No, they weren't. Notre Dame wasn't getting in the playoff. We know that. So, it's interesting. But I want to go deeper dive with Kenny. I mean, he sat courtside for all of Matt McMahon's games. So I want to ask him what it's like to watch a Matt McMahon coach team. All right, we got Kenny back. Kenny, sorry about that. I don't know if you heard the question, but I was asking you, the first thing you did there was you congratulated Matt McMahon, and that's mostly what we've heard out of Murray, even from the players. That's not always the case when a coach leaves a place. A lot of times there's hurt feelings. Why has the sentiment been so positive toward Matt McMahon?
I think what's happened, Matt, through the years is because of the success of the Murray State program, coaches have been able to come here and have success, which the fan base gets to enjoy, and then they are plucked by a bigger opportunity. And so our fans have really become appreciative of them more than having hurt feelings when they leave. Matt McMahon, I think the love is a little more just because he was here for 11 years as an assistant coach and then 7 years as the head coach. And so the relationships he built here were very strong. And so the fan base is happy for Matt and his family.
Gottfried, Kennedy, Prome, McMahon. There's been a lot of really good ones that have gone on to major Power 5 jobs. How would you compare Matt McMahon to those other names that I mentioned?
Well, I think the one thing that Matt McMahon has been able to do is, through the Scott Edgar, Mark Gottfried, Mick Cronin era, getting to the tournament was fantastic. We did it on a regular basis. We were always a 14 to 15 seed. And so there never was a lot of expectation to win a game. And, what happened then when Billy Kennedy got here is Vanderbilt, Steve Prohm was able to do the same thing and get to the second round. So I think the expectations now are higher for the program, and Matt has been able to deliver under that pressure by getting, to wear the white uniforms in the first round, which means you're a higher seed. And so I think our fan base respects the job that he did and places him on a higher pedestal than the coaches previously because he's been able to go to the tournament 3 times, and now he's won the Ohio Valley Conference 4 out of the last 5 years.
Visiting with Kenny Roth from the Murray State Basketball Radio Network, the color analyst, talking about Matt McMahon, of course, his former Murray State coach, now LSU head coach Matt McMahon, who was introduced today. I've asked a lot of people about Matt McMahon's style as a coach. What style of basketball will LSU fans see?
I tell you, I think if there's one word that'll be able to describe it is toughness. Is he takes a lot of pride in his team playing harder every night than the other team. Now, that might not always result in a win, but his expectation is the effort is going to be there and the toughness is going to be there. And what that does is bring an exciting brand of basketball for the fans to watch. This year the Racers averaged around 80 points a game. You're going to see an opportunistic offense that will push the basketball at every opportunity, but also be very smart and efficient in the half court once there's not a fast break available. So I think it's going to be high octane. I think the defensive pressure will be man-to-man for the most part, and will force some turnovers, which gets fans off their seats.
He did mention in his press conference today tempo. I thought the best line he had was, people say everyone wants to get to the NBA, but then you see guys in college walking the ball up the floor. It's like you never see that in the NBA, which was a great point. So I think tempo, you're right, it's a great observation, is going to be a big part of this. The real question here, and I don't know how much you can speak to this, the real question here obviously is going to be who's going to be on the roster for the first few years. There's always transfers when a coach leaves or goes. Is there a fear, concern, possibility that some of the current Murray State players may end up in Baton Rouge?
Well, I'm not sure that any of the Murray State roster will come there. That could possibly happen. The 2 of the 3 best players this year were Tevin Brown, who's the all-time leading three-point shooter in the history of the Ohio Valley Conference. He just played his 5th year. Although he does have a COVID year, the expectation is that he's gonna try to start making money playing basketball. So I don't know that will happen. I do think that the one area that Matt McMahon really succeeded in last year was the transfer portal and being able to pick up guys that not only could play but would fit in with the culture that he had here of, hard playing dudes. And that him being able to go into the transfer portal, pull out 3 very good players that joined this roster that was here this year, I think he'll be able to do that at the SEC level as well.
What is Matt McMahon's reputation as a recruiter?
I think he's it's elevated the last few years with, the finding of Ja Morant. Tevin Brown, as I said, was another one. Former assistant James Kane was very involved in those recruitments as well. But I think Matt is going to be one of those guys that will be daylight to exhaustion as far as recruiting goes, because he understands that very few coaches can really win by just out-coaching other coaches. It's all about what you're taking to the floor, the level of the talent. But I will say this, one area he succeeded in is to bring players that didn't arrive as, 4-star players, but ended up being drafted in the NBA. And I think, the dedication to the player development that he and his staff have implemented is very important, and they take it very serious. And so you see players come here and get better.
Kenny, we mentioned Ja Morant. It's almost impossible not to have a conversation. I mean, the guy's taking the NBA by storm. How much of Matt McMahon's success is directly or indirectly tied to Ja Morant?
Well, I think you can definitely say the 2 years that Ja was here, Ja walked in as a freshman, and there were 2 returning all-league players as seniors. And his first year, he averaged 11 or 12 points a game, really deferred to those 2 players, except he was passing it at a high level. Then his sophomore year, we saw Ja averaging in the mid-20s. So I think, you can say, okay, Matt McMahon had Ja Morant those 2 years. But what he did was he won the league 2 out of the next 3 years without him. Now, I'm sure the Ja effect helped the recruiting somewhat. That's something you can't really measure. But, Tevin Brown and KJ Williams, the 2 best players this season, they were freshmen when Ja Morant was here. So I'm not, they were here before the Ja effect happened. So I think you could say that 2 years of Matt's success, you have to give credit to Ja, although there was a very good team around him. But then after he left, 2 of the next 3 years, Murray State won the Ohio Valley Conference.
Yeah. There's a lot of people excited here. I appreciate the time, the insight, and man, it certainly sounds like LSU got a guy that is highly respected by everyone who saw him there for a decade plus in Murray, Kentucky. Kenny Roth, who had a courtside seat for all of it there, Murray State Basketball Radio Network there as the color analyst. Appreciate a couple of minutes, Kenny. Thanks for making time today.
Outstanding. I look forward to following you.
We appreciate it so much. Kenny Roth, again, from the Murray State Radio Network. I don't know if you feel the same way. Maybe it's just I've done enough of these over the years to where LSU hires a coach, you talk to the person that covered the coach at the previous stop, and generally there's not a real warm and fuzzy. I don't think people at Stanford were pumped when Trent Johnson left. I think North Texas, maybe they got it with Johnny Jones. People at Notre Dame were not real excited that Brian Kelly left there for LSU. They felt jilted, slighted. Remember when Will Wade went back to VCU with that LSU team in year 1? The people at VCU weren't super pumped to welcome their former coach back lovingly. There weren't standing O's, and that was VCU. So it's interesting. I think it certainly speaks to the character of the man, but also a program that feels like they're going to be okay with the next guy because they've been through this so many times before. But interesting. Definitely an interesting convo, interesting perspective. All right, it's after further review. Thanks for being here. Quick break. We'll come back. Brian Kelly talked about the roster he inherited and where it's going to be, which is light years from where he inherited come August the 4th when they report for fall camp. Stay here.
AFR.
Brought to you by Darren James and Associates. Powered by eXp Realty. Every home listed by every company, all in one place. Agent225.com. Agent225.com. It doesn't matter if you're buying or selling. If you got a $100,000 home or a $100 million home, Darren James has an amazing way of treating all of his clients like you are his only client. 335-7666, 335-7666, or agent225.com. This one listed in U-Club right now. 5-bedroom beauty. If you want to check it out right now, it's at agent225.com on Audubon Lakes. Check it out at agent225.com. How about if that was your home, getting a mention in a live radio ad? Could be, if you list your home with Darren James. Nobody spends more in marketing every month or has more creative ways to market their listings, your home, than Darren James. 335-7666 or agent225.com.
Think real estate, think Darren James.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
During these challenging times, we know your healthcare needs don't stop. Cancer, accidents, injuries, and heart disease are relentless. So we are relentlessly innovating to keep you safe, both virtually and in person, connecting you with providers remotely, advancing clinical spaces, providing rapid and accurate testing, social distancing, and certified cleaning protocols. We are Auctioner, and we will not slow down. Auctioner Health, innovating healthcare.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you were born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
If you're in an accident, a car accident, a slip and fall where you're injured, you need to call an attorney. The defendant insurance company, it's their goal to close the case as quickly as possible and pay out the least amount of money as possible. That's why it's important to call an attorney and call the law office of O.C. Brown.
At the law office of O.C. Brown, we're a family-owned firm. We want to be your law firm for a lifetime.
And this year, 2022, it's time to finally treat yourself. Bring your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service. You want the latest and greatest marine technology? You want to go to the place that has not one, but 2 NMEA certified techs. Family-owned and operated by the Sherman family for 30 years, front-to-back is the answer in Baton Rouge for all of your custom boat needs. So head to fronttobackboatservice.com or find
After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Presented by Plucker's Wing Bar. Open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
Brian Kelly met with the media to preview spring. Tigers are on the practice field tomorrow. One of the questions he did answer, though, was about Frank Wilson. Of course, Frank Wilson was mentioned in an update to the lawsuit filed by former LSU employee Sharon Lewis. And Brian Kelly was adamant in his defense of Frank Wilson.
We know of no lawsuit that has been filed regarding those allegations that were made. So his status here has unchanged, and we consider those as being egregious and simply allegations that were unfounded. So it does not affect Frank Wilson and the person that we know, and we stand behind him firmly as a member of our staff.
I don't think you can be any more direct or adamant than what Brian Kelly was there. They firmly stand behind Frank Wilson. He called the allegations egregious and unfounded. So Brian Kelly has planted his flag firmly in support of Frank Wilson. So forward they move. LSU is going to be on the practice field on Thursday, and the roster is going to look notably different than the last time we saw LSU on a football field. That was for the Texas Bowl in Houston against Kansas State, when LSU had fewer than 40 scholarship players available. Ed Ogeron left this program in ruin. He was negligent in his inability to recruit and maintain his roster, to manage his roster, positions, recruiting, all of it. And Brian Kelly inherited an awful situation. It's almost unfathomable that 2 years removed from the greatest season in college football history, you could have what LSU put on the field against Kansas State. Yet that was the reality. Brian Kelly updated the roster. I'm going to warn you, this cut runs about a minute, but he goes into great detail about what he inherited, where they are now, and where they're going to be.
You know, on January 4th, we had 39 scholarship players. As I said, on August 4th, when we report our first day, we're going to get to 84. We might not get to 85, but we're going to be at 84. So we'll get the roster back to where it needs to be in very short order. You know, mid-years, as you know, we took 17. Look, that is not how I will build a program here at LSU year in and year out. But we needed to address that gap that I just mentioned to you. For us to get to 84, you know, this isn't AAA. This is the SEC. So you better have a full roster of really good football players when you show up. You can't have 72 scholarship players, or the guys running down on the field, they're not going to be SEC players. So we had to address it. We did. We've got within there a number of guys, 10 in particular from the state of Louisiana, that are either high school or mid-year transfers that love the state, that wanted to play here, and are coming back to play here.
This is not the AAA. Mark that down. Remember it. Like, that's what this roster was when he got here. It was a AAA roster. You can't compete and can't win in the SEC with the roster the way it was. And I'm going to be really direct, and a lot of you don't love hearing me say this, but still, the roster still right now does not resemble a roster close to being able to compete at the highest level in the Southeastern Conference. You can be and should be very excited about a lot of the transfers that LSU was able to bring in and the way they were able to supplement the roster and all that. But this is still not a championship caliber roster. They are weaker in a lot of spots than they were when the season kicked off a year or even when the season ended. So, because of transfers. But he's filled a lot of those gaps to be able to field a team with enough players and depth to be able to withstand transfers or injuries or defections or academic, whatever it may be. You got to have numbers, and that's what he addressed. He was very clear. This is not how we're going to build the program, Brian Kelly said, but it's how they had to do it now so they could find a way to compete this year. One other thing Brian Kelly said, we're going to get into some of the position battles specifically here in a second. He did talk, though, about building on observations, about how he and the staff took the time to watch everything all the evidence they had, all of the film they had on these players to learn what they have, and then they'll build on it from there.
We looked at every game that the guys played last year, and that's important from what they did well, what they didn't do well, what they can improve on, and then we just put that away and then went to work on where they are right now. And because sometimes, like you said, some guys want a fresh start, but some other guys, want an opportunity to build off of what they did last year. Because, quite honestly, you look at some of these guys and, they don't have pads on, and some look better than the other. And then you look at a guy like Jack Besh who just makes plays. And I'm not saying he doesn't look good, but you watch a Hilton run around, and that young man, he can run all day. And then Jack Besh, what he can do watching him on film. So you want to build off of guys, and you want to let other guys grow at the same time. I think this spring allows us to kind of build on those observations.
So how about that shout out to Chris Hilton, who was a highly recruited player out of Zachary. And, I don't know if y'all saw him in track, the indoor meet. Dude's winning the high jump. It's incredible. And you wonder, how did that guy not get on the field? I get there's a log jam at receiver. I'm not sitting there saying, look, because if Hilton's in there, someone comes off the field to get it. But, the first catch he made was in the bowl game, and he housed it from 80 yards out. He's a game breaker. You got to find a way to get that kid involved, right? And they didn't before. But to that end, remember, Brian Kelly's talking about inheriting a roster with 39 players, and it had to supplement with the mid-years. He's like, that's not how we're going to build the roster. We had to now. The other part of it, just timing. It's March 24th. Typically, for as long as I've covered LSU, spring started before spring break. And they sort of had spring break sandwiched in between spring football because those dates didn't count. So now it's later than it's ever been. And listen to the explanation from Brian Kelly why they had to start spring football later.
There's not necessarily a benefit in terms of extending. We would have benefited more in terms of extending the calendar. We weren't prepared to practice. So we needed more time with our guys. We needed more conditioning elements with our football team. Just frankly, just needed more time with them. So what you'll see is, next year, we'll go before spring break so we can extend, because you don't have to count the break as countable days when you extend that way. So there is no real benefit other than we weren't prepared yet, in my eyes. We needed more time in the weight room. We needed more time developing some of the things that I talked about earlier before we jumped into practices.
He said they weren't prepared to practice. They're starting at the end of March because they weren't prepared to practice. They needed more time in the weight room. They need to be physically ready to go get on the field. They needed more time to do that. That's why they're starting spring football as late as they are right now. I keep trying my best to temper expectations year one. But listen to what this is the winningest active coach in college football. LSU's head coach right now is the winningest active coach in college football. He's won everywhere he's been. He's been around a long time. And he's telling you, I had 39 players. I had to take all these mid-years just so I didn't look like a AAA squad. We're starting spring football later because we weren't even good. We weren't even good enough to be on the field to practice until we got in better shape. He's got a hell of a job year one ahead of him. He has a steep climb year one ahead of him because he didn't inherit the team that won a national title. He inherited a poop show is what he inherited. And he and his staff they've done an amazing job already of rebuilding this roster. But they got a long way to go. I did ask Brian Kelly the remaining positions of need, if they know right now what positions they'd like to target to add more players before August 4th, when he said they're going to have 84 players on the roster by August 4th. I don't know why he said 84 and not 85. He said they're going to be at 84 by August 4th, what other positions of need are there?
I think our depth situation at tight end is a concern of mine. I think that's an area that we need to continue to build on, and not sure that it's a quick fix. I think it's something that we're still going to have to look at. And there may be some people that are on our roster that might have to change positions and play that position. We're going to have to address it one way or the other. So it's still a concern. There might be some movement there in the transfer portal after spring ball, but it is a concern. We're not done on the offensive line. That's still an area that we're actively involved in as well. So I would leave it at those two areas in particular.
It is so refreshing to hear a coach who's candid, but also feels like he's in control. Tight end is obvious. You don't have a tight end. I mean, you signed Taylor out of Florida this year. You got Cole Taylor, Mason Taylor, Jason Taylor's son. You got Cole Taylor as well, but you don't have. You got the God bless the Jack Mashburn, the walk-on who out of necessity played that position for you last year and did a great job. Don't misunderstand, but like LSU's used to producing professional players, and Brian Kelly has pumped tight ends into the NFL. He don't have one right now. Jack Bech is a great player, but he's a receiver. He's not a tight end. If you want an attached tight end, a traditional tight end, which Brian Kelly has always had in his offenses at Notre Dame, he don't have it right now. So they got to go get one. Wait till spring happens. Somebody somewhere is not happy with their lot at their current school. They hit the portal, and LSU goes and plucks a tight end. That's got to happen. Offensive line, he said, we might not be done. Not we could add another. He said, we're not done on the offensive line. They don't have a center. I mean, Brad Davis has already said they're cross-training 6 players right now to try to find a starting center. So if a center hits the portal, boom, get him. We're not done on the offensive line, he said. They're recruiting Steen, who's in the portal right now at Vanderbilt, has played both tackles, play either side. You're replacing 4 starters on the offensive line. You got Cam Wire back, but there's no guarantee he's going to be your left tackle this year. You bring in Steen, he's probably your day one starter over there. So that was definitive. There was no ambiguity. We're not done on the offensive line. You can tell. They still got spots to fill, and they've still got scholarships. They're willing to fill them, and it looks like they're going to. So a lot of work to do for Brian Kelly. It's exciting, though, and it's refreshing. It's like planting seeds and starting to water it and till the soil and watch it grow, give it light and nurture it to see it grow into that beautiful tree. Like, that's where this is headed. And you have the right person that knows how to do this. It's just going to take time and patience and diligence from a really talented staff putting this roster together and maximizing them. And it all starts with spring football getting underway tomorrow. All right, it's After Further Review. Glad you're with us. Hump Day Show is brought to you by Pluckers. Remember, March Madness. The Madness resumes tomorrow. DraftKings has an amazing deal for you right now. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. The DraftKings Sportsbook app. Live betting, mobile betting is live in Louisiana. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Use the promo code Baton Rouge. Bet just $5 on any NCAA tournament game, any college basketball game. If the team you bet on wins, they will give you $200 in free bets. But again, you got to download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use the promo code Baton Rouge. Again, DraftKings Sportsbook app. Use the promo code Baton Rouge. So easy. Bet just $5 on any tournament game. The team you bet on wins. You get $200 in free bets. Use the promo code Baton Rouge at the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Now, the disclaimer. 21 and older, physically present in Louisiana. Availability varies by parish. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for full terms and conditions. Licensee partner Golden Nugget, Lake Charles. Gambling problem? Call 1-877-7-STOP. Been a great show. Not done yet. Speaking of Benton, the Otter will be here in about 15 minutes from right now. We're looking forward to what he has and he plays tonight. When we come back, LSU has posted the lineup for tonight against Louisiana Tech. We'll run through it, give you a final primer for LSU and Tech out at the box, on which should be a beautiful night for baseball. Brought to you by Pluckers. Of course, you can go watch the game at Pluckers, get a bite to eat before or after the game at Pluckers. The Nicholson location is just south of the box there on Nicholson. All right, it's after further review. Let me knock out a break. We'll come back. We'll preview Tigers, Bulldogs from the box. You'll hear from Jason Kelly. We'll run through the lineup real quickly when we return on AFR.
AFR.
Of course, when you look at the thermostat, you look at the 10-day forecast, you see what's happening. Those warmer temps are coming. Make sure your AC is ready. You wouldn't drive across the country without getting your oil changed. You shouldn't go into the warm weather months, the summer months in Louisiana, without having your AC tuned up. This is the time before the triple-digit temps come. Call River City's 1 Hour Air. Have them come out to the house. Have them check your AC system. Tune it up so it's running efficiently for the entire summer. It's at River City's 1 Hour Air. 752-0001, 752-0001, or 1hourbr.com. You can spell it out. Look for the big yellow trucks and vans with the giant clock on the side. You see them all over town because Louisiana and Baton Rouge residents have trusted River City's 1 Hour Air for 40 years, just like I do. River City's 1 Hour Air, 752-0001, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has new 2022 Ram 1500 Bighorns in stock with 0% APR for 72 months. Shop our inventory or let us custom order your Ram with up to $2,000 bonus cash, million-mile warranty, and more. Shop BayouCDJR.com or visit us off I-10 in La Plaza. The crew at Bayou is going to do right by you.
To the heroes who are working tirelessly to care for our communities, we thank you. We will never forget the countless hours you dedicated on the front lines, choosing to risk your own health to fight for our friends, neighbors, and family members.
I mean, you guys are out on the front lines fighting it.
We are grateful for your heroic acts and unwavering spirit. Together, we are overcoming this adversity and make our state healthier and more vibrant again. Ochsner Health.
Hey, look what I found!
The motivation I needed to live healthier.
My new favorite sport.
I found my groove. I found I'm part fish.
My second win when I needed it most.
I found more than a gym.
The affordable childcare this mom needed.
Time for myself.
We found our why. Have you found yours?
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Presented by Plucker's Wing Bar. Open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
We're trying to figure this thing out for the best way for our group to have success.
It may not be traditional, but we're going to figure it out. We've got talented kids. We've got kids that have good competitive motors, and they're going to rise to the occasion. We just, as a coaching staff, need to find kind of that right fit for who fits where, and we're going to continue to work on that until we get it, and continue to challenge them in roles so that we can find out who fits great in some of them.
That's LSU pitching coach Jason Kelly. He was a guest earlier today on Hunt and Hill with Hunt Palmer and Jeremy Hill. He's a weekly guest, so if you're interested, every Wednesday you'll hear LSU's pitching coach Jason Kelly on with Hunt and Hill in the midday. And so they were talking obviously about LSU's rotation, and to his credit, I mean, Jay Johnson has told us this forever. So he may not look like he normally does traditionally. We're going to play a lot of long games, so sorry about that. And true to form, I mean, they are right now. And coming out of this weekend, I thought this was a really good cut. Coming out of this weekend where nothing really went right, Jason Kelly was pretty adamant that everything's on the table and they're considering all options.
I think as you look at our rotation, and it's clear to everybody that I think there's one guy in there that's kind of cemented, and that's Blake Money. And now that he's fully back, he was fully back last week, but you had to take it easy on him a little bit pitch count wise because he missed some throwing days. But other than that, we're going to mix it up, and you know, Ty Floyd's got his opportunities, and McHale's had his opportunities, and so some of those guys may get pushed to the bullpen, and we may give some of the young guys a chance. And we may do it. There may be an opener situation where we have a guy get us 6 outs and go to somebody else. And so we're kind of exhausting all options, and it's going to be weekend to weekend sometimes, depending on Florida's lineup versus Auburn's lineup versus Mississippi State's lineup.
Think about that. I mean, it kind of makes sense. If you have a lineup that's like front-loaded with lefties and you want to start Riley Cooper to get through the first 6 outs, I mean, it makes a little bit of sense. And then you hand the ball to the next guy. It's going to look unconventional unless if someone emerges, and quite honestly, I just don't know that. And this isn't me saying it. I mean, Jay Johnson said it after the series. So, like, we just don't have 3 guys on the roster that we're going to give the ball to and expect them to give us 7 innings. So it's just going to look different. He did say on that interview that he's got this he has a whiteboard in his office. He said, you know, he and Jay Johnson have kind of had a whiteboard session about all the options. He said, there's no room left on the whiteboard. I mean, they have exercised all options as far as what possibilities could be there to get through it. Tonight, Will Helmers is going to get the ball as LSU takes on Louisiana Tech. Jason Kelly did have some thoughts on the rematch with Tech. We'll let you hear that in a second. But here's how they'll line it up tonight for the Tigers. A little more of a conventional look. It's good to see Gavin Dugas is back. We were talking on Friday when we saw the lineup. We speculated, was Gavin Dugas benched because of the drop, pop, fly in the outfield, and that maybe Jay Johnson was going a little more defensive lineup. Not the case. Dugas, they said he had food poisoning, couldn't keep anything down, had lost like 10 pounds in a couple days. So he didn't play on Friday. He was in a pinch hit role on Saturday and Sunday, but he's back in the lineup today. So Trey Morgan will lead it off and play first base. Dylan Cruz batting second in center field. Jacob Berry is going to play third base and will bat third. Kay Doty at second base will hit cleanup. Gio is getting the start in right, and he'll bat fifth. Jordan Thompson at shortstop will bat sixth. As we mentioned, Gavin Dugas back in the lineup. He'll bat seventh and play left field. Braden Jobear's your DH tonight. He'll bat eighth, and then Tyler McManus behind the dish batting ninth. So I do like you get Dugas there at the bottom of the lineup. A little protection there maybe for he or Jobear. You got to choose who you're going to pitch to. And when you think about it, McManus was the hottest hitter on the team last week. Batted over 400 this past weekend. So Morgan, Cruz, Berry, Doty, DeGiacomo, Thompson, Dugas, Jobear, McManus is how they'll line it up tonight against Louisiana Tech. See if Gavin Dugas can get that bat going a little bit tonight, and if Jacob Berry can maybe play a clean night at a clean third base. I believe that's going to be his best spot. It's where he's played the most. It's going to be where he's the most comfortable. It's not going to be flawless, but he's uncomfortable in the outfield. You got to play him at third. If they're committed to having him in the lineup, as it sounds they are, he's got to play third base because you can't stick that kid in the outfield. You can't stick him in the outfield. Here was Jason Kelly on the rematch with Louisiana Tech, a team that beat LSU just a couple of weeks ago up in Ruston.
They're a good club, and you, as you guys know, that in-state rivalry, it always brings something a little bit different than a usual weekend game. So we know we're going to get the best from them, and they know they're going to get the best from us. Last time I don't think was a real good measuring stick. I mean, it was freezing. We didn't play well defensively at all. We didn't pitch particularly well. So I hope that, along with all Tiger fans, that the Bulldogs see a different team tonight than they saw a couple of weeks ago.
It's a 6:30 first pitch, LSU, Louisiana Tech, about 45 minutes away from right now, out at the box. See if the Tigers can get a nice midweek win before they hit the road tomorrow for Gainesville, 3-game set at the Gators. All right, it's After Further Review. We're glad you're with us here. We're brought to you by South Point Volkswagen and southpointvw.com. New and certified pre-owned in Baton Rouge and online at southpointvw.com. southpointvw.com. I tell you certified pre-owned, remember, they do have certified pre-owned Volkswagens, but they also have all different makes and models. So if you want that big SUV, the truck, whatever it might be, all makes and models, they've got them. People go buy a new Volkswagen, they trade in their old vehicle. You can go shop the used car lots, but make sure you shop South Point certified pre-owned selection. You even go to the website, southpointvw.com. There's a used vehicles tab right there. You can search the inventory. It's all there at southpointvw.com. southpointvw.com. You can even work out your financing online right now at South Point Volkswagen. Louisiana's largest volume Volkswagen dealer is South Point Volkswagen. What's your direction? All right, we will knock out our final break. When we come back, Otter, tell us what we're betting on tonight. Stick around. It's AFR.
AFR.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Presented by Plucker's Wing Bar. Open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
Down the stretch we come. Final segment here on a Hump Day edition of AFR, presented by Pluckers. One thing left to do. Let's find out what we're betting on tonight. It's time for Otter Locks.
Otter Locks. Presented by Clark Crane Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in St. Francisville. Because a great deal is worth the short drive to Clark Crane.
So we turn to the one and only, the incomparable and often incomprehensible, the Yacht Father himself, Jimmy Yacht. Otter, how are you?
Doing pretty good. Rough one there. 4-point dog with a 10-point lead in the fourth quarter. But welcome to the NBA. This is the
no lead is safe.
No lead is safe, but that's where you can end game. And again, when it's hedge, it's called a middle, a hedge, whichever you want. But when you're in a position, you've got a lead. There's a chance. I would say with at least a 6-point middle in play, you would have had a 10-point middle when they were up 10 with 8 minutes to go in the game. I was actually listening to the Atlanta broadcast. They were begging, maybe that'll get the Hawks going. And so they were kind of fighting their way back, and then Trae Young just went nuts down the stretch.
It's pretty good.
You know, the regular standard approach between 20% and 50% of your original bet. Say you bet $100 on the game. So at that point, you would have, bet $20 on the, on the Hawks plus 6 points. So you'd had a +4 and a +6, 10-point middle, or even going all the way up to $50 in hedge it. So just something to think about as you move forward, especially as we get into the NBA where, man, these things can swing a big way. I've been doing a lot in the tournament, Matt, and also the conference tournaments. And when you talk about teams that are facing elimination, they get down, man, they are fighting back. And it's proven to be pretty profitable where you can get yourself some middles. There are some games where gates to wire, you're not going to have a chance, and you just got to just live with it and move on. But they're all in basketball, more so than football, you will have some middle opportunities. 11 games in the NBA tonight. 3 of them for you that I've highlighted tonight. All right. First of all, we'll start. We're going chasing those Knicks. Knicks with the loss last night. They fall, I think it's 6 games back of the Atlanta Hawks for that last spot. That was basically their last stand, and they played well. No Julius Randle again tonight, back-to-back. They were in a tight ball game throughout, so they may be a little heavy-legged, and also because they've basically been eliminated last night. Hornets have more to play for. Hornets minus 8.5 at home against the Knicks. New Jersey Nets on the road. Kyrie can play on the road. He can't play at home. They are 7-0-1 against the spread. Their last 8 on the road. You know what they did against the Philadelphia 76ers when they played them in Philly. Now they play the Memphis Grizzlies. And no Ja Morant tonight. The Memphis Grizzlies have been outstanding without Ja Morant. They won like 10 in a row when they ripped off, 14 in a row in the middle of the season without him. But still kind of caught up with them a little bit, and that may be softening the line a little bit. Nets certainly playing Memphis will have their attention. I like the full strength Nets minus 1.5.
That's the
Memphis.
That's the Brooklyn Nets, by the way, Otter. Not the New Jersey Nets. They haven't been that in some time.
Yeah, I crossed the river a long time ago. I forget the side of the river I am on as well. So, anyway, I think I went to back early to get to Gonzales with all the traffic. But anyway, where it snows, people do mistakes. So anyway, I think I've seen every neighborhood in Gonzales on the way. And the Sun, it's about motivation, load management. We know Suns have a 9-game lead with 11 to play for the number 1 overall seed. That's what separates the number 1 seed from the number 2 seed. We know that Chris Paul is out. We know that load management, that's what it's all about. And so they're just kind of coasting the way. T-Wolves covering machine.
Okay.
Catching 1.5 at home against the coasting Suns. Hey, give me the T-Wolves. That's my favorite play tonight is the T-Wolves plus a 1.5.
All right, man. Charlotte, Brooklyn, Minnesota. That's the odds.
Jersey.
Hey, man, I will tell you, I still on occasion have called them the New Jersey Nets, and also it's like the San Diego Chargers. There's some things where old habits that are buried in our brain, just they're going to be very hard habits to kick. Out at Snows tonight?
Yes.
Right.
Cross-sport future parlay tonight. Jersey Nets, San Diego Chargers, and the Washington Redskins. Okay? There you go.
And the Montreal Expos. Why not?
Yes!
Get nuts. Get nuts. All right. Honor, have a great show. Thank you as always.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Game Time with Jimmy Ott follows us in Baton Rouge. If you're not in Baton Rouge, online at 1045ESPN.com or the Game Time with Jimmy Ott Facebook page. Muse, what'd you learn?
You don't know who Jennifer Lawrence is.
No, I know who she is. I haven't seen anything she's been in, to be very clear. All right, I might not be able to pick her out of a lineup. I've heard the name before. I've heard her name before. Paulie, what did you learn?
Keishawn Butte had a second surgery.
All right, we're out of here. Have a great night.
AFR.
Brought to you by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. Bluebonnet in Baton Rouge. Ambassador Caffrey in Lafayette. Online, theantiagingclinics.com. You probably have heard me for a long time now talk about hormone replacement therapy. And you may not know what it is. It may sound confusing. It may sound a little scary. I didn't know anything about it either until about 5 years ago. And I was at Aesthetic, and I was like, okay, well, if I'm going to endorse you, I want to go through this process. We took my blood labs, and I was a guy in my mid-30s at the time who had the testosterone of a 70-year-old man. I lived in a hospital for a year with my son. The stress was enormous. It aged me biologically. And I started on hormone replacement therapy. And it's incredible that you don't know how bad you feel until you start feeling good again. But I've been under the watchful eye of a medical doctor, Dr. Todd Howell. They're great staff, and I feel fantastic. You can as well. Just go get that blood test at the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana, theantiagingclinics.com.
Bayou Ford has 0% for 60 months on new Ford F-150s plus $1,000 bonus cash. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. And right now, get $1,000 bonus cash plus 0% APR for 60 months on new 2021 Ford F-150. Shop now at BayouFord.com. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
If you're in an accident, a car accident, a slip and fall where you're injured, you need to call an attorney. The defendant insurance company, it's their goal to close the case as quickly as possible and pay out the least amount of money as possible. That's why it's important to call an attorney and call the law office of O.C. Brown.
At the law office of O.C. Brown, we're a family-owned firm. We want to be your law firm for a lifetime.